also the people who locked up the Japanese in internment camps after during World War II. So this is the sordid history of this Democratic Party. So it's entirely appropriate that today Hillary Clinton was kind of crowned the leader of this party because she is a gangster par excellence. There's really never been an American presidential candidate who is as corrupt, as thoroughly self serving. Somebody who has put everything from the national security interest to the country's economic interest behind her personal financial self interest. This is the party and this is its nominee. And I'm trying with this book and the accompanying movie, Hillary's America, to blow the whistle on this racket.
Well, you've done a great job. I mean, everybody that's seen the movie comes to me and they say, "Man, this movie will really make you rethink your ideas about the Democrat Party."
Well, the left is screaming about the movie, but it's very instructive to go look at all the reviews. I mean, they're written by these sort of progressive critics who flail and they throw all this empty rhetoric at me. It's paranoid. It's delusional. It's agitprop. Just the biggest words these guys can find. And yet they can't contest a single fact in the book or the movie. And so I've got all this sort of devastating procession of actual facts. I mean, for example, I point out that in 1860, the year of the Civil War, no Republican owned a slave. All the slaves in the entire country were owned by Democrats. So that's a devastating fact. They can't challenge it. They can't name a single Republican who owned a slave. And so again, they thrash around and make a whole bunch of noise. But at the end of the day, the thoughtful reader can see that these facts are unassailable and their significance is large.
I am going through the book as you're speaking, and chapter 4 caught my eye. Segregation now, segregation forever, and that was the part and parcel of the policy for the Dixiecrats.
Yeah, the Democrats, once you put them up against the wall and you force them to admit that their party is behind most of the worst crimes of American history, crimes that they have cleverly tried to blame on the South or America or even on the Republican Party that fought them. Once you get them to admit this, they basically try to bail out by saying, "Oh, but you know what? At the very last minute, we switched. All the racist Democrats became Republicans." And we Democrats just became super enlightened and we became the friends of minorities. Now, first of all, on the face of it, there's something fishy about the bad guys just suddenly seeing the light and switching. So right away, we're kind of on our guard. But then the more you look into it, the more you realize that this big switch is a big fat lie because the whole case hinges on one guy, Strom Thurmond. True, Strom Thurmond was a racist Dixiecrat. He did become a Republican, but he's pretty much the only one who did. You can make a list of the dozens, if not hundreds, of Dixiecrats. All of them remained in the Democratic Party. Besides, there were thousands of racist Democrats going all the way back through the 20th century and back into the 19th century, and all of them remained in the Democratic Party. So the progressives, clever though they are, can't really justify this nonsense about a big switch. There was, in fact, no such switch. And it is an attempt to remove blame from the people who are actually guilty of some of the most sordid behavior in Western history.
How were they able to pull off this reformation that the Democrat Party was somehow absent any kind of blame for the racial mess that the United States was in through the 60s and early 70s? How were they able to do that? I mean, literally, how did the mechanics work?
Well, number one, they're able to do it because they control three of the most powerful cultural institutions in the society: academia, Hollywood, and the media. Those are the three biggest megaphones in our culture. So if you have those, you can put out an awful lot of propaganda before anybody can stand up and contradict you. It's like an echo chamber. Academia says it, the media broadcasts it, Hollywood makes movies and sitcoms about it, and there you go. You're off to the races. Now, number two, they've tried to do it by blaming someone else. Their favorite target in the 19th century was the South. And so they go, oh, you know what? The whole fight about the Civil War really wasn't about the Democrats at all. It was about the anti-slavery North versus the pro-slavery South. The problem with this is number one, most Southerners did not own slaves. Most Confederate soldiers did not own slaves. And number two, the Northern Democrats protected slavery with the same enthusiasm as the Southern Democrats. So the slavery battle before the Civil War was between the anti slavery Republican Party and the pro slavery Democratic Party, North and South. So this is the way that the Democrats try to evade blame. They blame the South, they blame the Republicans, they blame America. So they're full of, Cory Booker at the Democratic National Committee. America did this and America did that, but it's not America that did it. It's the Democratic Party, and that's the one connection that our friend forgot to make.
He was very good last night when he was talking about Americans standing together, and I said to myself, what party is he talking about? Because all I've seen is unbelievable divisiveness from that party.
And the Democrats are doing it now. I mean, they pretend like they are today the friends of minorities, or really, you just go a mile or two from the Democratic Convention Center in Philadelphia, and what do you see? You basically see, I call it the urban plantation. It's not unique to Philly. We see it in Oakland, in Detroit, in Chicago, in Dallas, all over the place. Now, these urban plantations are very similar to the old slave plantations, ramshackle dwellings. You basically see the family structure broken down, large degrees of violence necessary to hold the place together. Yes, people have a meager living and health care, but they have no opportunity. Nobody is properly educated. No one can come up in life, and you have misery and you have nihilism. So that was the old slave plantation. That's exactly what the new Democratic plantations look like. And it's run by the same people. The same party that ran the old antebellum plantations is running the new urban plantations. And you can't blame the Republicans this time, because where are the Republicans? I mean, every public office is held by Democrats. Democratic mayors, Democratic school superintendents, Democratic this, Democratic that. The Democrats have full responsibility for our urban crisis, and the only interest that they have in those people living in those places is to make sure that they harvest Democratic votes.
Hillary's America, The Secret History of the Democrat Party. Dinesh D'Souza, the #1 New York Times bestselling author. That book in hardback from Regnery, and you can find it at Amazon and where all great books are sold. So what have you thought about the Democrat National Convention in the first couple of days?
Well, I'm just absolutely chuckling at this unbelievable, I would call it the second email scandal. This is the email scandal of the Democratic Party. Look, their name is Democratic. They're supposed to at least be able to run a fair election. But no, even in the primary, they've got to go Soviet on us and run a Soviet style election in which the Democratic National Committee is colluding with one candidate, Hillary Clinton, to squash the other candidate, Bernie Sanders. And now Bernie is so out of it that he surrenders all the same. I guess it's because he's basically been sleeping on his neighbor's couch for 20 years. He's just grateful to Hillary Clinton return his phone calls. But it's a very sad picture, because here you've got these people fixing the election and rigging the process, and Hillary's colluding right up with it. And now, of course, there's Debbie Wasserman Schultz gets thrown off the boat, but Hillary is untouched. And so this is the way these Clintons operate. This is right out of our movie. And by the way, if you let me say so, Hillary's America, the movie.com is the website.
There you go.
You can watch the trailer. You can plug in your zip code. It'll tell you where the movie is playing near you.
You got to go see it. You absolutely have to see Hillary's America, The Secret History of the Democrat Party, in film and in hardback copy. So as you're watching this unfold, do you think the American people will be taken in again? Will the old Clinton magic do it? I mean, the purveyor, the finest purveyor of the old Clinton magic, Bill Clinton, is going to speak tonight. Do you think we're going to get? You think we're going to get taken in again?
Of course, it's not the same Bill that we saw in the 1990s. I think life is basically having its revenge on Bill. He seems like he's literally 100 years old, and I think too much hard living and too many martinis have almost taken its toll on his voice. He looks horrible. Now he still has the charm. A charm that Hillary never had. And Hillary's lifelong challenge has been, how do I keep Bill next to me? Because I need Bill. Bill is my pitch man. Bill could have had a political career without Hillary, but Hillary could not have had one without Bill. And so, that she's hoping that that old Clinton magic still works. But gee, I think the last time the Clintons left the White House, they left a really bad taste. They were renting out the Lincoln bedroom, taking pictures off the walls, selling pardons to big time criminals. And then when Hillary got in as Secretary of State, it was more of the same, renting out American foreign policy to the highest bidder, taking money from foreign governments in exchange for favorable policy positions. The Clintons are absolutely unbelievable. I mean, we've had corruption at the local level in America, Tammany Hall rackets in New York, where people would loot the Treasury, give contracts to their buddies. But never before have we seen this taken to the national and even the global level. Now, again, in the past, when America finds a crook, we usually throw the crook out. But never before has America knowingly voted for a crook. With Hillary, we know in advance. And it's going to be really interesting, a really good referendum on the American character to see what Americans do this November.
He is Dinesh D'Souza. Don't forget Hillary's America, the secret history of the Democrat Party in film. Find a theater near you by going to Hillary'sAmericaTheMovie.com or DineshD'Souza.com. Dinesh, thanks very much for joining us. Sincerely appreciate your time. This is the Wells Report on 660 AM The Answer. Your conservative dollars are worth a lot, except to big cellular companies. You see, your conservative dollars only mean one thing to them. They can turn those conservative dollars into liberal ones. Hi, I'm John David Wells from the Wells Report. What we need to do is we need to switch our telephone services to Patriot Mobile. Why? Because 5% of every dollar you spend on your Patriot Mobile telephone gets donated to causes you and I and patriots in America believe in. Right now, get a free Samsung Galaxy S7 with unlimited talk, text, and data for only $70. Mention or enter the promo code WELLS, WELLS, at checkout, and you will waive your activation fees for up to 2 lines of your new Patriot Mobile phone plan. Call Patriot Mobile today at 1-800-A-PATRIOT or check out patriotmobile.com. Whatever you do, mention or enter the promo code checkout, get your activation waived.
Truth spoken here. More of which is next. The Wells Report on 660 AM. The Answer.
If you've ever wondered what it would be like to experience the magnificent beauty of the Sistine Chapel, the historic Western Wall in Jerusalem, and the beauty of the Greek island of Santorini, all while sailing pristine waters on a 5-star cruise ship, your opportunity now awaits to discover for yourself cities of antiquity and the origins of culture and faith. A journey with meaning awaits you this fall on the footsteps of the Apostles Mediterranean Cruise, September 22nd through October 9th. For more information and to register, visit 660amtheanswer.com.
You need a plan as you get closer to retirement. A plan that'll take you from where you are now to the retirement that you've always dreamed about. The first step on that path is to tune into the Wealth Smart Radio Show, Sundays at 7 a.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer. You only get to retire once, so it's really important you do it right. And your host, Reed Johnson, president of Lake Point Advisory Group, helps people retire successfully every day. So don't miss Wealth Smart every Sunday at 7 a.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer.
Acme Home Insurance.
Yes, I'd like to make a claim.
What are you wanting to claim, sir?
My air conditioner broke down.
Sorry, but your home insurance doesn't cover air conditioner breakdowns.
So what do you cover?
Home damage from things like earthquakes, volcanoes, a zombie apocalypse.
A zombie apocalypse? But that'll never happen.
But if it did, you'd be covered, sir.
But not my air conditioner?
I'm afraid not.
But his air conditioner could have been covered with a home warranty from American Home Shield, plus components of 20 other major home systems and appliances, like his electrical system, plumbing, refrigerator, and more. For valuable free information, call 1-800-700-1134. Home insurance can cover what might happen.
Zombies are coming!
But a home warranty helps cover what will happen.
Now the dryer won't work.
Life happens. Have a plan. Get a home warranty from American Home Shield. For valuable free information, call 1-800-700-1134. That's 1-800-700-1134. 1-800-700-1134.
Are you the mom of a 7 to 12-year-old beautiful tween girl? Have you noticed that the world is pressuring your daughter to grow up too fast? Take a deep breath. You're not alone.
There's more to us
Created by best-selling author Dana Gresh, The Secret Keeper Girl All-New Purple Party Tour is a live stage event that helps moms teach their girls the secrets of true beauty and biblical modesty. Through live worship, deep Bible teaching, a modesty fashion show, and the famously quirky Truth or Dare modesty test, Secret Keeper Girl reinforces the message every girl needs to hear, that she's a priceless masterpiece created by God. You and your daughter will share special moments that you'll always remember. The Secret Keeper Girl All-New Purple Party Tour. It's the most fun you'll ever have digging into God's Word.
SecretKeeperGirl.com. Part of the Dallas Baptist University Concert Series. September 24th at First Euless. SecretKeeperGirl.com.
Hey everybody, Mark Davis from my friends at Zero Res. A busy summer means a cleaner house is necessary, so let's get going at 214-37-CLEAN. 214-37-CLEAN for the $33 per room Mark Davis Show carpet cleaning special. Call them. Pre-treated, clean, sanitized, $33 a room. Also, drapes, upholstery, hardwood floors, 214-37-CLEAN. For a Zero Res clean, you also get a $50 gift certificate to Estilo Gaucho Brazilian Steakhouse. So call them. 214-37-CLEAN. 214-37-CLEAN for Zero Res.
At Lumber Liquidators, we're kicking off our summer stack-out sale with special deals at every store. Overstock floors, small lots, and more are priced to move. Get unheard-of clearance deals at select stores on 2,000 varieties of pre-finished hardwood from just 59 cents.
Now,
Special buys at durable strand carbonized bamboo. It's just $169. North American and European laminate up to 20% off, with some deals from just 29 cents. And special financing. Visit LumberLiquidators.com to find a store near you and get to the summer stack-out sale today.
660 AM.
The Answer. Only for Texas. This is the Wells Report on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number is 866-660-5759. And so what we're seeing here is Bill Clinton. He's about to make the case for his wife's White House bid. He's going to be joining us here in just a couple of minutes, we think. We believe he's the next speaker. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking the speech in total here tonight, and can hardly wait to hear what the former president of the United States, arguably the last real Democrat president, is going to say. Very interested in hearing what he's going to say and how he is going to lay out the case for his wife's impending presidency, unless Donald Trump can pull this off. 866-660-5759. The question remains, the one I asked earlier this evening. Please share with me if you've been watching the Democrat National Convention or not watching the Democrat National Convention. Tell me why. Tell me why you've watched. Tell me why you haven't. 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. You can also join us, by the way, on YouTube live events. Join us, The Wells Report. It's actually John David Wells, The Wells Report, as we found out earlier today. So JONDAVIDWELLS, The Wells Report. You can find us, and we are waiting for you right there. Spend some time with us here tonight on video on 660 AM The Answer. Back with more in just a moment.
Hey, it's Mark Davis from my friend Josh DeShong. The real estate world of Josh DeShong sells houses when others cannot. I am living proof. Lisa and I are so thrilled with Josh. He came in and sold our house with blinding speed. You want a promise. You want somebody who's going to sit down with you and say, I promise to sell your house. Most folks won't do this. Josh will. His website is getsold.net, and he is telling you your house will get sold. How does he do this? Well, you call him at the number I'm about to give you. He sits down with you and says, let's arrive at an agreed upon price and an agreed upon time frame. If that house of yours does not sell at that price in that time frame, he, Josh DeShong, simply buys your house. That's it. You're out. You're at closing. You move on. So call him and call him today. Don't waste a day. 972-325-6644. 972-325-6644. D Magazine Best Realtor 3 years in a row. I'll love him forever. Josh DeShong, getsold.net. 972-325-6644.
How much of your life are you losing because of pain? I'm Dr. Chad Glines, DC at Genesis Back and Neck, and I really do want to give you your life back.
Hi, my name is Brenda. I had 5 of the lower disc of my back that had herniated, and they had pressed against the nerves, and I could not move, hadn't felt my right leg in 8 months. The pain was so bad. Neurologists and surgeons had told me I'd never walk. And then I went back into the office with Dr. Chad, and I told him, I've had so many people tell me there's nothing I can do. And he says, I'm pretty sure I can get you out of that wheelchair. And little by little, he got me up walking, and it has gotten so much better. I cannot tell you how much I admire everybody in that office.
That just blesses me to hear
John
that.
David,
At Genesis Weeks,
once I
at most
see him
major
walk to the
insurances,
podium,
and your first
I'll
visit
use
will
the
be at
breaking
no
news and
charge.
they'll be
Call
back to
me. 817-328-1922. That's 817-328-1922 or online at genesisback.com.
Hi, this is Forrest Jackson for Jackson's Mosquito and Pest Control. Folks, mosquitoes in North Texas are a serious problem and threaten the health and happiness of your family. Allow us to help protect you. Jackson's has mosquito specialists standing by with multiple treatment options to help safeguard your home. From one-time pest treatments to full-fledged mosquito control systems, Jackson's has you covered. Take back your yard with Jackson's Mosquito and Pest Control. Call now, 214-350-1101. That's 214-350-1101. Or visit us at jacksonsmc.com.
660 AM The Answer. KSKY Balch Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth. The official radio station of Decision 2016. The most important election of our lifetime.
Fox News Radio, I'm Jane Metzler. South Dakota putting Hillary Clinton over the top in the delegate count. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo announcing his state's vote.
181 delegates for the next president of the United States, Hillary Rodham Clinton.
Clinton will accept the nomination in a speech Thursday night. Her husband, the former president, speaking tonight. 2 ISIS terrorists took nuns and others hostage during Mass this morning in Normandy, France, slitting the throat of an 86-year-old priest before they were shot by police.
Unfortunately, this is just the latest in a series of really tragic, violent events which have left us shocked. The Pope has been informed. He's obviously praying for the victims, one of them a very elderly priest.
Vatican spokesman Greg Burke, Fox News. We report, you decide.
You're listening to 660 AM, The Answer.
Dennis Gibbs, the boat guy here, host of the Big Boat and Outdoor Show, sponsored by DallasBoatsForSale.com. Let me break it down for you. We talk about boats and boating, boat ramps, marinas, lakes and water levels, boat sales, sailboats, sailing, anchoring, sinking, grounding, buying, selling, and enjoying the fun out on the water. You picking up what I'm putting down? If it floats, we talk about it every Saturday at 6 p.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer.
This is Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, and I'd like to invite you to join me for our talk show every Sunday morning. We're actually trying to convert the world to organics. We talk about the natural organic program for farming, ranching, gardening, and pest control. Also, a lot of talk about health issues for animals and people. Hope you can join us for all the fun.
Make sure to tune in to Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, every Sunday morning from 8 to 11 a.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer.
This is Hugh Hewitt for townhall.com. The California Senate recently passed a bill that threatens the ability of faith-based institutions across the Golden State to function according to their religious beliefs. The bill, SB 1146, is now being considered by various committees within the California Assembly. If passed and signed by Governor Jerry Brown, the bill would require any entity that receives state funding or enrolls students who receive state financial assistance to abide by expansive so-called non-discrimination provisions. The bottom line, religious schools would no longer be able to limit admissions of students or employment of people of their particular religious faith, nor would these schools be able to maintain certain codes of conduct, housing policies, and other policies according to their faith convictions. It's an ominous piece of legislation. If you care about religious freedom, please visit OpposeSB1146.com. That's OpposeSB1146.com and do what you can to stop the bill.
American Leak Detection. Leak detection without destruction. We find leaks without bashing a hole.
Hi, Will Nell with American Leak Detection. When the weather is dry, many people believe their foundation is failing, when in fact, what you have is a plumbing leak. Leaking pipes under your slab can cause movement in your foundation and expensive damage to your home. So before you have your foundation fixed, you should get your plumbing checked. With state-of-the-art technology, American Leak Detection is the only name to call. We are the original leak specialists. We can locate your plumbing leak without destruction and then repair it. Don't let a plumbing leak under your foundation go undetected or waste money on unnecessary foundation repair. Go to AmericanLeakDetection.com today. That's AmericanLeakDetection.com.
We're American Leak Detection. American Leak Detection.
As a listener of the financial diva Victoria Woods on this station, you know that she only makes two statements about the market with absolute certainty. It's going to go up and it's going to go down. Volatility is part of investing, and if that's a roller coaster ride you're just not interested in taking anymore, it's time to consider protecting a minimum of 25% of your hard-earned retirement dollars. Call 888-838-3482 today. If you're 10 to 15 years from retirement, having the right balance of protection and growth in your retirement portfolio is one way to rest easy when the market is doing cartwheels. Call Chapelwood Financial Services at 888-838-3482 to discover how you can have that balanced plan. Protection of a portion of your assets is the foundation of your retirement plan. Don't lose another minute of sleep worrying about the next market correction. Contact Chapelwood Financial at 888-838-3482 or email office@chapelwood.com. That's 2 P's and 1 L to ask how you can protect your money today. That's 888-838-3482.
So my daughter is off to college soon, and I got her some bedding from the company store, the good stuff, as she calls it. She thinks I'm being generous. I know better. See, college is not cheap, and sleep is hard to come by, which is important. So I'm doing whatever I can to assure she gets a good night's sleep when she actually sleeps.
The company store has been perfecting a good night's sleep for over 100 years. Visit thecompanystore.com to see our full line of college bedding and more. Enter the code PILLOW and get 15% off your order plus free shipping.
Nothing interrupts your day like feeling worn out, and nothing interrupts your night like snoring. It's not just your other half who feels the pain.
Honey, roll over!
Simple Sleep Services really works for snoring and sleep apnea without painful surgery, CPAPs, or masks. Just a comfortable custom mouthpiece that's covered by medical insurance. And they've made more in 5 years than anyone else. You'll have more energy every day and better rest at night.
Honey, roll over.
Visit simplesleepservices.com or call 469-685-1700.
A Napa guy knows not to judge a man by his car's multicolor paint job or absence of modern gadgetry. Who cares if it's technically old enough to vote and the windows are powered by the strength of your left arm? Your monthly payment is zero, and it'll stay that way. Because with over 400,000 parts and a little Napa know-how, you can keep anything on the road. She may not be pretty, but she's all yours. That's Napa know-how. 660 AM The Answer. 660AMTheAnswer.com. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is the Wells Report with John David Wells on 660 AM The Answer.
And so the hall housing the Democrat National Convention has gone dark. It is dark with various lights, deep dark lights in the background. It looks like the inner sanctum. Right? Yeah, they're blue. It looks like the inner sanctum of Darth Vader's personal Swedish valet. I mean, villa, not valet. Villa. Anyway, there seem to be pictures. There are pictures in lots of blue light and so on and so on. So Bill Clinton or Darth Vader will probably be showing up at some point. And people are already saying, Hillary changed her name to Darth Vader? No, it's just a little. You see, that's just a little partisan funniness. Everybody knows that Darth Vader is actually Dick Cheney. I'm kidding there. Totally joking there. Yeah. By the way, I did not write that joke. That one was a Vicky Stifer exclusive. Here on the Wells Report. We are waiting. Exactly. We are waiting for Bill Clinton to join us. What's he going to say? What do you think he's going to say? 866-660-5759. I wonder just exactly how Bill is going to to talk about his wife. Like I said earlier tonight, I think the best part of her political career was when she was the senator from New York.
Hey, John David.
That seemed to be the best part of her career. Yes, sir.
I know what he's going to say.
Oh, good. What do you suppose she's going to say there, or he's going to say there, Magic?
Vote for my wife. Thank you and goodbye.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you wish. Yeah, you wish it was going to be that slow. You wish it was going to be that short. Nah, not so much. Not so much. There are, let's see, they got a guy riding on a tractor with his son. Yes.
I think that he is going to tout what he did as president and say that is the reason why you should vote for Hillary. We will have that kind of prosperity and everything that you want that I gave you. She's my wife. She will do the same for you.
So that's what you're thinking, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody believe that? 866-660-5759, 866-660-5759. You know, I'm very interested. Dinesh D'Souza is not so sure that Americans won't be taken in by this yet again. But it seems like now is the time to find out. The lights are coming up and the music is beginning to play and people are beginning to shout. And joining us is President Bill Clinton here on the Wells Report. Yeah. Let me, you can hear music. Is that the theme from SWAT?
Shaft.
Magic Matt Swinney just said, no, it's Shaft. Yeah, that's probably pretty appropriate. The president looks very, very good. Blue suits, blue tie, hair better than I've seen it in years. He looks great. Actually, he does. He looks really,
dressed
really
up for the event.
Yeah, Dinesh D'Souza. Yeah, he looks really, really healthy. Dinesh D'Souza said that he seems to look like he's about 100 years old. But not so much tonight. He looks really healthy. He really does. Looks like he's been working out, you know? Yeah.
Thank you.
And here's the president,
Thank you.
Bill Clinton, at the Democrat National Convention on 660 AM The Answer.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. In the spring of 1971, I met a girl. The first time I saw her, we were, appropriately enough, in a class on political and civil rights. She had thick blonde hair, big glasses, wore no makeup. And she exuded this sense of strength and self-possession that I found magnetic. After the class, I followed her out, intending to introduce myself. I got close enough to touch her back, but I couldn't do it. Somehow I knew this would not be just another tap on the shoulder. But I might be starting something I couldn't stop. I saw her several more times in the next few days, but I still didn't speak to her. Then one night, I was in the law library talking to a classmate who wanted me to join the Yale Law Journal. He said it would guarantee me a job in a big firm or a clerkship with a federal judge. I really wasn't interested. I just wanted to go home to Arkansas. Then I saw the girl again, standing at the opposite end of that long room. Finally, she was staring back at me. So I watched her. She closed her book, put it down, and started walking toward me. She walked the whole length of the library, came up to me and said, "Look, if you're going to keep staring at me," and now I'm staring back, we at least ought to know each other's name. I'm Hillary Rodham. Who are you? I was so impressed and surprised that, whether you believe it or not, Momentarily, I was speechless. Finally, I sort of blurted out my name, and we exchanged a few words, and then she went away. Well, I didn't join the law review, but I did leave that library with a whole new goal in mind. A couple days later, I saw her again. I remember she was wearing a long, white, flowery skirt. And I went up to her, and she said she was going to register for classes for the next term. I said I'd go too. And we stood in line and talked. You had to do that to register back then. And I thought I was doing pretty well, till we got to the front of the line, and the registrar looked up and said, "Bill, what are you doing here? You registered this morning." I turned red, and she laughed, that big laugh of hers. And I thought, well, heck, since my cover's been blown, I just went ahead and asked her to take a walk down to the art museum. We've been walking and talking and laughing together ever since. And times of bad through joy and heartbreak. Morning on the news that our good friend and a lot of your good friend Mark Weiner passed away early this morning. We built up a lifetime of memories. After the first month and that first walk, I actually drove her home to Park Ridge, Illinois to meet her family and see the town where she grew up. A perfect example of post-World War II middle-class America. Street after street of nice houses, great schools, good parks, a big public swimming pool, and almost all white. I really liked her family. Her crusty conservative father, her rambunctious brothers, all extolling the virtues of rooting for the Bears and the Cubs. And for the people from Illinois here, they even told me what waiting for next year meant. Could be next year, guys. Now, her mother was different. She was more liberal than the boys. And she had a childhood that made mine look like a piece of cake. She was easy to underestimate with her soft manner, and she reminded me all over again of the truth of that old saying, you should never judge a book by its covers. Knowing her was one of the greatest gifts Hillary ever gave me. I learned that Hillary got her introduction to social justice through her Methodist youth minister, Don Jones. He took her downtown to Chicago to hear Dr. Martin Luther King speak, and he remained her friend for the rest of his life. This will be the only campaign of hers he ever missed. When she got to college, her support for civil rights, her opposition to the Vietnam War, compelled her to change parties and become a Democrat. And then, between college and law school, on a total lark, she went alone to Alaska and spent some time sliming fish. More to the point, by the time I met her, she had already been involved in the law school's legal services project. And she'd been interviewing workers in migrant camp for Senator Walter Mondale. She'd also begun working in the Yale New Haven Hospital to develop procedures to handle suspected child abuse cases. She got so involved in children's issues that she actually took an extra year in law school, working at the Child Study Center to learn what more could be done to improve the lives and the futures of poor children. So, she was already determined to figure out how to make things better. Hillary opened my eyes to a whole new world of public service by private citizens. In the summer of 1972, she went to Dothan, Alabama, to visit one of those segregated academies that then enrolled over 500,000 white kids in the South. Only way the economics worked is that they claimed federal tax exemptions to which they were not legally entitled. She got sent to prove they weren't. So she sauntered into one of these academies all by herself, pretending to be a housewife that had just moved to town and needed to find a school for her son. And they exchanged pleasantries, and finally she said, look, let's just get to the bottom line here. If I enroll my son in this school, will he be in a segregated school, yes or no? And the guy said, absolutely. She had him. I've seen it 1,000 times since. And she went back, and her encounter was part of a report that gave Marian Wright Edelman the ammunition she needed to keep working to force the Nixon administration to take those tax exemptions away and give our kids access to an equal education.
Bill Clinton speaking before the Democrat National Convention on 660 AM The Answer.
Then she went down to South Texas, where she met one of the nicest fellows I ever met, the wonderful union leader Franklin Garcia, and he helped her register Mexican-American voters. I think some of them are still around to vote for her in 2016. And then, in our last year in law school, Hillary kept up this work. She went to South Carolina to see why so many young African-American boys, I mean young teenagers, were being jailed for years with adults in men's prisons. And she filed a report on that, which led to some changes too. Always making things better. Now, meanwhile, let's get back to business. I was trying to convince her to marry me. I first proposed to her on a trip to Great Britain, the first time she'd ever been overseas, and we were on the shoreline of this wonderful little lake, Lake Innerdale. I asked her to marry me. She said, I can't do it. Hillary moves to keep working on children's issues. This time, trying to figure out why so many kids counted in the census weren't enrolled in school. She found one of them sitting alone on her porch in a wheelchair. Once more, she filed a report about these kids, and that helped influence ultimately the Congress to adopt the proposition that children with disabilities, physical or otherwise, should have equal access to public education. You saw the results of that last night when Anastasia Somoza talked. She never made fun of people with disabilities. She tried to empower them based on their abilities. Meanwhile, I was still trying to get her to marry me. So the second time I asked, I tried a different tack. I said, I really want you to marry me, but you shouldn't do it. She smiled and looked at me like, what is this boy up to? She said, that is not a very good sales pitch. I said, I know, but it's true. And I meant it. It was true. I said, I know most of the young Democrats our age who want to go into politics. They mean well and they speak well, but none of them is as good as you are at actually doing things to make positive changes in people's I suggested she go home to Illinois or move to New York and look for a chance to run for office. She just laughed and said, "Are you out of your mind? Nobody would ever vote for me." So I finally got her to come visit me in Arkansas. And when she did, the people at the law school were so impressed, they offered her a teaching position. And she decided to take a huge chance. She moved to a strange place, more rural, more culturally conservative than any place she'd ever been, where she knew good and well people would wonder what in the world she was like and whether they could or should accept her. Didn't take them long to find out what she was like. She loved her teaching, and she got frustrated when one of her students said, "Well, what do you expect? I'm just from Arkansas." She said, "Don't tell me that. You're as smart as anybody. You just got to believe in yourself and work for it and set high goals." She believed that anybody could make it. She also started the first legal aid clinic in Northwest Arkansas, providing legal aid services to poor people who couldn't pay for them. One day, I was driving her to the airport to fly back to Chicago when we passed this little brick house that had a for sale sign on it. And she said, "Boy, that's a pretty house." It had 1,100 square feet, an attic fan and no air conditioner in hot Arkansas, and a screened-in porch. Hillary commented on what a uniquely designed and beautiful house it was. So I took a big chance, bought the house. My mortgage was $175 a month. When she came back, I picked her up and I said, "You remember that house you liked?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "While you were gone, I bought it. You have to marry me now." The third time was the charm. We were married. We were married in that little house on October the 11th, 1975. I married my best friend. I was still in awe after more than 4 years of being around her at how smart and strong and loving and caring she was. And I really hoped that her choosing me and rejecting my advice to pursue her own career was a decision she would never regret. A little over a year later, we moved to Little Rock when I became Attorney General, and she joined the oldest law firm west of the Mississippi. Soon after, she started a group called the Arkansas Advocates for Families and Children. It's a group, as you can hear, is still active today. In 1979, just after I became governor, I asked Hillary to chair a rural health committee to help expand health care to isolated farm and mountain areas. They recommended to do that partly by deploying trained nurse practitioners in places with no doctors to provide primary care they were trained to provide. It was a big deal then, highly controversial and very important. And I got the feeling that what she did for the rest of her life, she was doing there. She just went out and figured out what needed to be done and what made the most sense and what would help the most people. And then if it was controversial, she just tried to persuade people it was the right thing to do. It wasn't the only big thing that happened that spring, my first year as governor. We found out we were going to be parents. And time passed. On February 27th, 1980, 15 minutes after I got home from the National Governors Conference in Washington, Hillary's water broke, and off we went to the hospital. Chelsea was born just before midnight. And It was the greatest moment of my life. The miracle of a new beginning. The whole fills for me because my own father died before I was born. And the absolute conviction that my daughter had the best mother in the whole world. For the next 17 years, through nursery school, Montessori, kindergarten, through t-ball, softball, soccer, volleyball, and her passion for ballet, through sleepovers, summer camps, family vacations, and Chelsea's own very ambitious excursions, from Halloween parties in the neighborhood to a Viennese waltz gala in the White House. Hillary, first and foremost, was a mother. She became, as she often said, our family's designated worrier, born with an extra responsibility gene. The truth is, we rarely disagreed on parenting, although she did believe that I had gone a little over the top when I took a couple of days off with Chelsea to watch all 6 Police Academy movies back to back. When Chelsea was 9 months old, I was defeated for re-election in the Reagan landslide. And I became overnight, I think, the youngest former governor in the history of the country. We only had 2-year terms back then. Hillary was great. Immediately she said, okay, what are we going to do? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to get a house. You're going to get a job. We're going to enjoy being Chelsea's parents. And if you really want to run again, you got to go out and talk to people, figure out why you lost, tell people you got the message, and show them you still got good ideas. I followed her advice. Within 2 days, we had a house. I soon had a job. We had 2 fabulous years with Chelsea. And in 1982, I became the first governor in the history of our state to be elected, defeated, and elected again. I think my experience is it's a pretty good thing to follow her advice. The rest of the decade sort of flew by as our lives settled into a rhythm of family and work and friends. In 1983, Hillary chaired a committee to recommend new education standards for us as a part of, or in the response to a court order to equalize school funding, and a report by a national expert that said our woefully underfunded schools were the worst in America. Typical Hillary, she held listening tours in all 75 counties with our committee. She came up with really ambitious recommendations. For example, that we be the first school in America, first state in America to require elementary counselors in every school because so many kids were having trouble at home and they needed it. So I called the legislature into session hoping to pass the standards, pass the pay raise for teachers, and raise the sales tax to pay for it all. I knew it would be hard to pass, but it got easier after Hillary testified before the Education Committee, and the chairman, a plain-spoken farmer, said, "Looks to me like we elected the wrong Clinton." Well, by the time I ran for president 9 years later, the same expert who said that we had the worst schools in America said that our state was one of the 2 most improved states in America. And that's because of those standards that Hillary developed.
You're listening to the Wells Report. This is 660 AM The Answer. President Bill Clinton addressing the DNC.
Hillary told me about a preschool program developed in Israel called HIPPY, Home Instruction Program for Preschool Youngsters. The idea was to teach low-income parents, even those that couldn't read, to be their children's first teachers. She said she thought it would work in Arkansas. I said, that's great. What are we going to do about it? She said, oh, I already did. I called the woman who started the program in Israel. She'll be here in about 10 days and help us get started. Next thing you know, I'm being dragged around to all these little preschool graduations. And keep in mind, this was before any state even had universal kindergarten. And I'm being dragged to preschool graduations, watching these poor parents with tears in their eyes because they never thought they'd be able to help their kids learn. Now, 20 20 years of research has shown how well this program works to improve readiness for school and academic achievement. There are a lot of young adults in America who have no idea Hillary had anything to do with it, who are enjoying better lives because they were in that program. She did all this while being a full-time worker, a mother, and enjoying her life. Why? Well, she's insatiably curious, she's a natural leader, she's a good organizer, and she's the best darn change maker I ever met in my entire life. So, look, this is a really important point. This is a really important point for you to take out of this convention. If you believe in making change from the bottom up, if you believe the measure of change is how many people's lives are better, you know it's hard and some people think it's boring. Speeches like this are fun. Actually doing the work is hard. So people say, well, we need to change. She's been around a long time, she sure has. And she's sure been worth every single year she's put into making people's lives better. I can tell you this. If you were sitting where I'm sitting, and you heard what I have heard at every dinner conversation, every lunch conversation, on every long walk, you would say, this woman has never been satisfied with the status quo in anything. She always wants to move the ball forward. That is just who she is. When I became president, with a commitment to reform health care, Hillary was a natural to head the health care task force. You all know we failed because we couldn't break the Senate filibuster. Hillary immediately went to work on solving the problems the bill sought to address one by one. The most important goal was to get more children with health insurance. In 1997, Congress passed the Children's Health Insurance Program, still an important part of President Obama's Affordable Care Act. It insures more than 8 million kids. There are a lot of other things in that bill that she got done, piece by piece, pushing that rock up the hill. In 1997, she also teamed with the House Minority Leader, Tom DeLay, who maybe disliked me more than any of Newt Gingrich's crowd. They worked on a bill together to increase adoptions of children out of foster care. She wanted to do it because she knew that Tom DeLay, for all of our differences, was an adopted parent, and she honored him for doing that. Now, the bill they worked on, which passed with an overwhelming bipartisan majority, led to a big increase in the adoption of children out of foster care, including non-infant kids and special needs kids. It made life better because she's a change maker. That's what she does. Now, when you're doing all this, real life doesn't stop. 1997 was the year Chelsea finished high school and went to college. We were happy for her, but sad for us to see her go. I'll never forget moving her into her dorm room at Stanford. It would have been a great little reality flick. There I was in a trance, just staring out the window, trying not to cry. And there was Hillary on her hands and knees, desperately looking for one more drawer to put that liner paper in. Finally, Chelsea took charge and told us ever so gently that it was time for us to go. So we closed the big chapter in the most important work of our lives. As you'll see Thursday night when Chelsea speaks, Hillary's done a pretty fine job of being a mother.
You're listening to the Wells Report. This is President Bill Clinton at the DNC in Philadelphia.
As you saw last night, beyond a shadow of a doubt, so has Michelle Obama.
This is 660 AM The Answer.
Now, fast forward. In 1999, Congressman Charlie Rangel and other New York Democrats urged Hillary to run for the seat of retiring Senator Pat Moynihan. We'd always intended to go to New York after I left office and commute to Arkansas, but this had never occurred to either one of us. Hillary had never run for office before, but she decided to give it a try. She began her campaign the way she always does new things, by listening and learning. And after a tough battle, New York elected her to the seat once held by another outsider, Robert Kennedy. And she didn't let him down. Her early years were dominated by 9/11. By working to fund the recovery, then monitoring the health of and providing compensation to victims and first and second responders. She and Senator Schumer were tireless, and so are our House members. In 2003, partly spurred on by what we were going through, she became the first senator in the history of New York ever to serve on the Armed Services Committee. So she tried to make sure people on the battlefield had proper equipment. She tried to expand, and did expand, health care coverage to reservists and members of the National Guard. She got longer family leave working with Senator Dodd for people caring for wounded service members. And she worked for more extensive care for people with traumatic brain injury. She also served on a special Pentagon commission to propose changes necessary to meet our new security challenges. Newt Gingrich is on that commission. He told me what a good job she'd done. I say that because nobody who has seriously dealt with the men and women in today's military believes they are a disaster. They are a national treasure of all races, all religions, all walks of life. Now, meanwhile, she compiled a really solid record, totally progressive on economic and social issues. She voted for and against some proposed trade deals. She became the de facto economic development officer for the area of New York outside the ambit of New York City. She worked for farmers, for winemakers, for small businesses and manufacturers, for upstate cities and rural areas who needed more ideas and more new investment to create good jobs, something we have to do again in small town and rural America, in neighborhoods that have been left behind in our cities, in Indian country, and yes, in coal country. When she lost the hard-fought contest to President Obama in 2008, she worked for his election hard, but she hesitated to say yes when he asked her to join his cabinet because she so loved being a senator from New York. So, like me in a different context, he had to keep asking. But as we all saw and heard from Madeleine Albright, it was worth the effort and worth the wait. As Secretary of State, she worked hard to get strong sanctions against Iran's nuclear program, and in what the Wall Street Journal, no less, called a half-court shot at the buzzer, she got Russia and China to support them. Her team negotiated the New START treaty with Russia to reduce nuclear weapons and reestablish inspections, and she got enough Republican support to get 2/3 of the Senate the vote necessary to ratify the treaty. She flew all night long from Cambodia to the Middle East to get a ceasefire that would avoid a full-out shooting war between between Hamas and Israel in Gaza, to protect the peace of the region. She backed President Obama's decision to go after Osama bin Laden. She launched a team. This is really important today. She launched a team to fight back against terrorists online and built a new global counterterrorism effort. We've got to win this battle in the mind field. She put climate change at the center of our foreign policy. She negotiated the first agreement ever, where China and India officially committed to reduce their emissions. And as she had been doing since she went to Beijing in 1995 and said women's rights are human rights and human rights are women's rights. She worked to empower women and girls around the world and to make the same exact declaration on behalf of the LGBT community in America and around the world. And nobody ever talks about this much. Nobody ever talks about this much, but it's important to me. She tripled the number of people with AIDS in 4 countries whose lives are being saved with your tax dollars, most of them in Africa, going from 1.7 million lives to 5.1 million lives, and it didn't cost you any more money. She just bought available, FDA-approved generic drugs, something we need to do for the American people more. Now, you don't know any of these people. You don't know any of those 3.4 million people, but I'll guarantee you they know you. They know you because they see you as thinking their lives matter. They know you, and that's one reason the approval of the United States was 20 points higher when she left the Secretary of State's office than when she took it. Now, how does this square? How does this square with the things that you heard at the Republican convention? What's the difference in what I told you and what they said? How do you square it? You can't. One is real, the other is made up. And you just have to decide which is which, my fellow Americans. The real one had done changed before she was 30 than many public officials do in a lifetime in office. The real one, if you saw her friend Betsy Eveling vote for Illinois today, has friends from childhood through Arkansas, where she has not lived in more than 20 years, who have gone all across America at their own expense to fight for the person they know. The real one has earned the loyalty, the respect, and the fervent support of people who have worked with her in every stage of her life, including leaders around the world who know her to be able, straightforward, and completely trustworthy. The real one calls you when you're sick, when your kid's in trouble, or when there's a death in the family. The real one repeatedly drew praise from prominent Republicans when she was a senator and Secretary of State. So what's up with this? Well, if you win elections on the theory that government is always bad and will mess up a 2-car parade, a real change maker represents a real threat. So, your only option is to create a cartoon alternative. Then run against the cartoon. Cartoons are two-dimensional. They're easy to absorb. Life in the real world is complicated, and real change is hard. And a lot of people even think it's boring. Good for you, because earlier today, you nominated the real one.
You're listening to the Wells Report. This is President Bill Clinton addressing the Democrat National Convention in Philadelphia. This is 660 AM, The Answer.
Listen. We got to get back on schedule. You guys calm down. Look, I have lived a long, full, blessed life. It really took off when I met and fell in love with that girl in the spring of 1971. When I was president, I worked hard to give you more peace and shared prosperity, to give you an America where nobody is invisible or counted out. But for this time, Hillary is uniquely qualified to seize the opportunities and reduce the risk we face. And she is still the best darn change maker I have ever known. You could drop her. You could drop her into any trouble spot. Pick one. Come back in a month, and somehow, some way, she will have made it better. That is just who she is. There are clear, achievable, affordable responses to our challenges. But we won't get to them if America makes the wrong choice in this election. That's why you should elect her. And you should elect her because she'll never quit when the going gets tough. She'll never quit on you. She sent me in this primary to West Virginia, where she knew we were going to lose, to look those coal miners in the eye and say, I'm down here because Hillary sent me to tell you that if you really think you can get the economy back you had 50 years ago, have at it, go wherever you want to. But if she wins, she is coming back for you to take you along on the ride to America's future. And so I say to you, if you love this country, you're working hard, you're paying taxes, and you're obeying the law, and you'd like to become a citizen, you should choose immigration reform over somebody that wants to send you back. If you're a Muslim and you love America and freedom and you hate terror, stay here and help us win and make a future together. We want you. If you're a young African American disillusioned and afraid, we saw in Dallas how great our police officers can be. Help us build a future where nobody's afraid to walk outside, including the people that wear blue, to protect our future. Hillary will make us stronger together. You know it because you spent a lifetime doing it. I hope you'll do it. I hope you'll elect her. Those of us who have more yesterdays than tomorrows and to care more about our children and grandchildren. The reason you should elect her is that in the greatest country on earth, we have always been about tomorrow. Your children and grandchildren will bless you forever if you do. God bless you. Thank you.
That is President Bill Clinton wrapping up a well-constructed, well-issued speech about his wife, Hillary. That was absolutely brilliant. It was the story he had to tell. There was not necessarily a better story to tell than the one that Bill Clinton just told. He spent time humanizing Hillary Clinton, something that is not easy to do. Hillary does not come across as a human being. She comes across as an authoritarian. She comes across as somebody that knows more than you. She comes across as somebody who is just farther along the evolutionary food chain from an intellectual standpoint than you are. And I'm not trying to be unfair here. That's just the reading that I get, and I could be wrong. 866-660-5759. If you believe that Hillary is something other than what I just described, by all means, join us and talk to us. 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. Looking forward to hearing what you have to say here. The speech went on to talk about Hillary, the change agent. They talked a lot about some things that not a lot of people knew about from her past. She, they talked about things that were subjective in place of things that were easily quoted as statistics or easily quoted as measurable realities. A lot of people said that she did a great job as Secretary of State. Who said these things? Madeleine Albright? I don't know that Madeleine Albright was one of the great secretaries of state, insofar as she's one of the reasons why the Serbs felt so empowered to move forward with their ethnic cleansing of the Croats in Serbia. She was right in the middle of all of that. So I find myself in a situation where I listen to the President of the United States crafting a very good, very straightforward, very necessary story about Hillary Clinton, the human being, Hillary Clinton, the change agent, Hillary Clinton, the person that reasonably goes out and finds a solution to a problem that she perceives. I don't know that we need her to solve the problems she perceives. I think we need her to solve the problems that millions of out-of-work Americans perceive. I think we need to have somebody that solves the problems that the world perceives the United States as having. In other words, a fair weather friend who does not come running when trouble hits. That's what I'm thinking. What about you? 866-660-5759. This is the Wells Report. Conservative dollars are rare. As a matter of fact, conservative dollars are rare because the people who possess them take good care of them. The problem with conservative dollars is that sometime or another you have to spend them on things you do need, like, for example, the cell phone in your pocket. Big mobile companies are universally liberal. This is a problem. This cost us conservative Congressman Allen West. It's true. Your money goes from being a conservative dollar to being a liberal one when you give it to a big mobile cell phone company. Hi, I'm John David Wells from the Wells Report. So what do? I'm telling you, you need to get in touch with Patriot Mobile right this very moment and do something different. Right now, you can get a free Samsung Galaxy S7 with unlimited talk, text, and data for just $70. Mention or enter the promo code WELLS. This is really important, okay? Mention or enter the promo code WELLS when you check out, and you will waive the activation fee for up to 2 lines on the spot. All you got to do is remember my last name. Wells, the Wells Report, 1-800-A-PATRIOT, or check out patriotmobile.com. Call Patriot Mobile today.
More of the Wells Report is coming up next on 660 AM. The Answer.
I used to love wearing dresses and shorts. Then I started getting spider veins, and even worse, those embarrassing, bulging, varicose veins. For a while, I covered up my legs. But then I discovered Vein Clinics of America.
Vein Clinics of America is the oldest, largest, most experienced vein treatment center in the U.S. And for 35 years, they've been the leading expert in the treatment of vein disease. Using state-of-the-art laser and minimally invasive treatments, they can begin restoring the natural beauty of your legs in as little as an hour with no downtime, and most treatments are covered by your insurance.
My legs look great and feel great. I even love wearing summer dresses and shorts again.
Make sure your legs look and feel their best for summer. Call now and schedule a free fast-track consultation to find out how you can finally get rid of those embarrassing varicose and spider veins. Space is limited, so call 800-375-4806. That's 800-375-4806. 800-375-4806.
Crack, go Power Jack. Have you noticed cracking in or around your home? Is it getting to be more than you can handle? Call the professionals at Power Jack Foundation Repair. We can help. Now offering an exclusive patented steel pier system for slab repair. It gives your home the lift it needs in a single hydraulic powered motion. We know you want peace of mind when it comes to your home and your family's safety. That's why Power Jack Foundation Repair is proud to be the only authorized provider of the next level in foundation repair here in the Metroplex. Go powerjack.com to schedule your free in-home consultation or call 866-638-PJFR. That's 866-638-7537. Locally owned and operated since 2001, Power Jack Foundation Repair at gopowerjack.com.
Got it crack, go Power Jack.
Hey everybody, Mark Davis from my friends at Zero Res. A busy summer means a cleaner house is necessary, so let's get going at 214-37-CLEAN. 214-37-CLEAN for the $33 per room Mark Davis Show carpet cleaning special. Call them. Pre-treated, clean, sanitized, $33 a room. Also, drapes, upholstery, hardwood floors, 214-37-CLEAN. For a Zero Res clean, you also get a $50 gift certificate to a Estilo Gaucho Brazilian steakhouse. So call them. 214-37-CLEAN. 214-37-CLEAN for Zero Res.
660 AM The Answer. KSKY Balch Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth. The official radio station of Decision 2016. The most important election of our lifetime.
Fox News Radio, I'm Jane Metzler, detailing her record of service. And former President Bill Clinton told delegates at the Democratic National Convention how he met his wife and convinced her to marry him.
I said, "You remember that house you liked?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "While you were gone, I bought it. You have to marry me now." The third time was the charm.
Tonight, Hillary Clinton became the first woman nominated for president by a major political party. A radioactive device recovered along with a man suspected of stealing it.
Police in Bridgeport, Connecticut say they've recovered a device containing sealed sources of radioactive cesium-137 and americium-241 stolen Monday from the trunk of a car.
This device was located at a pawn shop.
Bridgeport Police spokesman Av Harris says a suspect is also in custody.
Fox's Bill Marcus, Fox News. We report, you decide.
This is 660 AM The Answer.
The U.S. stock market's on the brink of collapse. World currencies will soon freeze and devalue, and gold will hit $10,000 per ounce. So says New York Times bestselling author and economist Jim Rickards in his latest book, The New Case for Gold. Hi, my name is Adam Barata. I'm the managing director at Advantage Gold. Advantage Gold is on a mission to warn everyone about the massive risks facing all investors right now. And that is why Advantage Gold is giving away Jim Rickards' latest best-selling book absolutely free. Call 800-900-8000 right now to get your free copy. That's 800-900-8000. In this book, Jim explains how loose credit has created massive asset bubbles, why central banks are no longer able to prop up economies by taking on more debt, and why demand for gold will soon spike worldwide, driving the gold price to as high as $10,000. If you care about your financial future, please call now. 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. My name is Adam Barata. We are Advantage Gold, and your future is safe in our hands. 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold has the highest ratings according to TrustLink with a 100% 5-star rating.
You can buy your next gun anywhere, but there's nowhere like the Texas Gun Pros. There are gun shows, big box stores, and even the occasional eccentric dealer. But there is no one like the Texas Gun Pros. Texas Gun Pros are truly your pros for all your gun needs, bringing you big store selection with a local family experience. There truly is no one like Texas Gun Pros. What else makes the Texas Gun Pros stand out from the rest? An online catalog with hundreds of guns, guaranteed to have the one you're looking for. Texas Gun Pros is the only place in North Texas that can give you the gun you want for the price you can afford. Don't miss out on the amazing selection and friendly staff at Texas Gun Pros. Stop by their North Richland Hills location or visit them on the web at texasgunpros.com. That's texasgunpros.com. texasgunpros.com. and see how it feels to be a member of the Texas Gun Pros family.
Hi, I'm Jeff Stewart with Reliant Air Conditioning. Let's talk about service techs that are really just salesmen in disguise. Most companies use their service techs to sell new equipment on service calls, and the more equipment they sell, the more commission they make. But would you buy a new car from your mechanic? The fact is, the guy you're trusting to repair your system actually makes more money if he can sell you a new one. At Reliant Air Conditioning, you get a certified service technician, not a salesman. Our techs don't work on commission, and they don't sell equipment. If you need a new system, you can get $3,500 off with Carrier's Cool Cash, plus $1,800 off from your utility provider. That's saving over $5,000 on a new AC system that can cut your electric bill in half. So call 2 other companies first, and then call Reliant Air Conditioning, and you'll see how we've been gimmick-free since '83. Our number's 877-YOUR-HERO. That's 877-YOUR-HERO or ReliantAirConditioning.com.
Reliant Air Conditioning. Call 877-YOUR-HERO.
Hey, everybody, Mark Davis from my friends at Viascan of Las Colinas. Simple question. What are we trying to do? Well, Mark, what do you mean? I mean, what are we trying to do? Let's make the list. Eat healthy, lose weight. That's all good. But listen, on that list somewhere, keep aware of our own bodies. Try to fend off heart attacks and cancer by being aware of what's going on inside us. Scan technology exists, and Viascan prices give us the motivation to do the job right. At Viascan of Las Colinas, John Duncan and the crew are there for you at a number I'm about to share so that you can see through the heart scan if you have plaques or blockages going on in your heart. See through the body scan what's going on in various other vital organs, maybe any pesky cancers that are festering there that you can detect early, the virtual colonoscopy, and so much more so we can stay healthy, stay on the planet, stay plugged into life. 972-739-2840. Call them. 972-739-2840 or just Google Viascan.
When you live with back pain, every day has certain challenges, like picking up my kids or trying to get groceries out of the car. I had tried medication, even a surgery didn't help. That's when I heard about Dr. Chad. I am pain-free. Seriously, no more back pain, no more medications. Thank you, Dr. Chad.
Do you have low back or neck pain? Does it run down your arms or your legs? Do you have a bulging or herniated disc degeneration, or spinal arthritis? Even worse, have you been told you need back surgery or injections? If you answered yes, then please listen to what I have to say. My name is Dr. Chad Glines, DC, at Genesis Back and Neck, and I use the most advanced spinal decompression system available, the DRX 9000, to correct back problems just like yours. If you're a candidate for decompression, you can try out the treatment all at no charge to you. So if you're ready to not hurt anymore and don't want to have surgery, call me at 817-328-1922. That's 817-328-1922, or online at mylowback.com.
It's National Make-A-Will Month at LegalZoom.com, so it's time to take care of your will or trust. LegalZoom makes it easy. They're not a law firm, so there's no office visits or paying expensive hourly rates. Instead, you could save over $100 with LegalZoom's will or trust estate plan bundles. And if you don't know whether a will or trust is right for you, don't worry. You'll work with an independent attorney available in 48 states to get advice on what you need. Do the right thing this month at LegalZoom.com. LegalZoom.com.
660 AM, The Answer. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is the Wells Report with John David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number is 866-660-5759. And tell me about what you thought of Bill Clinton's speech. 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. Still, as far as I can tell, absolutely no mention of ISIS or the terror war anywhere in any of this from the Democrat National Convention. Still don't see a lot of American flags. Someone pointed out that you sure could see a lot of Mexican and old Soviet flags. That was something that was I found interesting. Currently on stage, Alicia Keys. She is doing her doubtless breathtaking job as a musician. But I want to know what you thought about Bill's speech. Bill ended up talking about how he and Hillary Clinton got together. He met this girl in 1971. She was blonde. She has big glasses and a big laugh. And he went on to describe how they got together and how he observed how she went about doing the things that she did to make things better in Arkansas, in New York, and in the State Department. As the story continued, there was less and less fact and more fancy or subjectivity, things that really couldn't be argued with. Not necessarily the actual facts. Because there's an awful lot to really be concerned about when it comes to Hillary Clinton's political record, especially as Secretary of State. Bill Clinton, make no mistake, Bill Clinton may be one of the best politicians you have ever seen in your life. This speech, he may be a little older. His voice may be just a little weaker. But that speech was vintage Bill Clinton. The last real Democrat president. Because what happened to the Democrat Party has nothing to do really with Bill Clinton. It has nothing to do with what's actually going on. Or what was going on when Bill Clinton was president. This is a leftist progressive. We know better than you. You just need to endow us with enough of your money so that we can help you live properly kind of party. That was not what Bill Clinton said. Bill Clinton made it very plain that during his tenure as president of the United States, the era of big government was over. And he found that out in the painful reality of the contract with America, which was put together by Newt Gingrich and forced President Clinton to do things that he brags about to this very day. But it was a fight. Let me get to Alan in Fort Worth. Alan, thanks very much for joining us. What'd you hear in that speech?
I heard typical Bill Clinton at his best, and I agree with you. He had to, it was the speech he had to give. However, I wanted to say that it has also caused me, the festivities, so to speak, have caused me to say something I never thought I would say, and that is I am finally resolved to vote for Donald Trump.
Why?
A Hillary Clinton presidency is a bullet to the brain for the country, no doubt. Donald Trump is Russian roulette with multiple slugs in the chamber. However, and both will kill you. However, the Democrats have flat out come out and placed before us every false god, every idol, every policy and behavior that you could possibly have, and they have basically given the middle finger to we could plan, but we're going to get killed for sure if Hillary's president.
I can't believe otherwise. I think, I think I'm in a situation where, once again, Bill didn't tell the story of Saul Alinsky and didn't tell the story of Planned Parenthood. Didn't tell the story of a Democrat abortion platform that is as radical as it has ever been in the United States. Far beyond the reality of it all. Hillary Clinton now is appearing via video. Let's see what she has to say tonight after her president husband spoke about her for a little over an hour. What was it, about an hour? Yeah. 866-660-5759. Apparently from her house in Chappaqua, New York. Hillary Clinton at the Democrat National Convention via video.
Hello, Philadelphia. I am so happy. It's been a great day and night. What an incredible honor that you have given me. And I can't believe we just put the biggest crack in that glass ceiling yet. Thanks to you and to everyone who's fought so hard to make this possible. This is really your victory. This is really your night. And if there are any little girls out there who stayed up late to watch, let me just say, I may become the first woman president, but one of you is next. Thank you all. I can't wait to join you in Philadelphia. Thank you.
Hillary Clinton was not at her house in Chappaqua. She was someplace else, and don't know exactly where that was. She was surrounded by some people who are now applauding. It appears as though it's some kind of a restaurant or some kind of a night spot. And so Hillary Clinton now standing up and telling the story of the first female to hold the presidential nomination of a major political party. And that is definitely the case. That happened today, and that is historic. The question is, what will she do with the presidency if she wins it? And is that good for this country? 866-660-5759, 866-660-5759. And talk to me a little bit about how important it is to America's women that a woman, not necessarily Hillary Clinton, but a woman wins the presidency at some time. Is this about plumbing? Is this going to be about physicality here? Is this going to be about gender? Which would be odd, because it seems to me the Democrat Party is doing its absolute dead level best to rid us of gender in our time. So why would it be important to elect a woman, and why would there be a glass ceiling if everything was everything? I mean, I'm trying to figure that out, but let's not dwell on the reality of the logic hole. Let's just move forward and say, okay, the flaw in the logic. Let's move forward and say, okay, what do we do? What do we do from a standpoint of how many women in America will vote for Hillary just because she's a woman? 866-660-5759, 866-660-5759. By percentage. How many people in America, how many women in America will vote for Hillary because she's a female? And for no other reason. 866-660-5759. Would you say 20%? Would you say 30% of America's women would vote for Hillary Clinton just because she's a woman? And then let me ask you another question. Are there Republican women that will vote for Hillary Clinton just because she's a woman? 866-660-5759, 866-660-5759. Obviously, if you're going to elect Hillary Clinton to be the president of the United States, you're not going to be able to elect her on what she's accomplished. You're going to have to elect her based on what people think she's accomplished and what people say she's accomplished. 866-660-5759. How many American women, from a percentage standpoint, do you think will vote for Hillary Clinton just because she's a woman? How many Republican women would vote for Hillary Clinton just because she's a woman? Are we talking 10% of America's Republican women? Would 10% of America's Republican women vote for Hillary? That's the over-under. Do you bet the over or the under? Let me get to Deborah in Dallas. Deborah, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Wells Report. Hello.
Hello. Yes, I would say it'd be the under 10%.
You think that there,
Because
you think the
Uh-huh.
Republican women that would vote for Hillary just because she's a woman would be under 10%?
Under 10%, absolutely.
Okay.
Or they should. That's my opinion. I'm a woman. I have a construction business in Dallas, and to me, I'm a very independent woman, but I don't see her being a very good leader going to foreign countries where they don't even let women drive.
Yeah, there are a few problems with the story.
Yeah.
There are just a
You
few
know.
problems with the story, yeah.
Yes, and so no, I would definitely think that women, especially smart, educated women, would see right through it.
All right. Thanks
Yeah.
very much. I appreciate that. 866-660-5759. Simon in Dallas. Welcome to the Wells Report. Hello.
Hey, thanks. I just wanted to answer your question with the question is how many women are going to vote to Hillary because she's a woman. I'm curious if you knew how many men are not going to vote for Hillary because she's a woman.
How many
two-way
men?
street.
How many men do you think will not vote for Hillary just because she's a woman?
I don't know the answer to that. I
Well,
think
yeah,
there's some
guess.
out there.
Guess. It's just us. It's just us. I put forward that maybe 10% of Republican women would vote for Hillary because she's a woman. And Deborah said, no, that's less than that. She believes it would be fewer women than that. Okay. How many women are going to vote for Hillary just because she's a woman? I would say somewhere around 30%. How many men would vote against Hillary Clinton just because she's a woman?
Right.
Yeah. How many do you think? 10, 20%?
I'm clueless. Honestly, I don't want to just, I think it's just a philosophical question, but I think it's out there. I mean,
Yeah, let's say it is. There's no doubt about it. I'm sorry I got to run, Simon. You're listening to the Wells Report. This is 660 AM, The Answer.
Look, honey, this ad says we can get a new air conditioning unit for only $1,500.
That's incredible. Let's get it now.
There you go. Enjoy.
Wait, what?
You didn't think we'd install it for that price, did you?
There you go, folks. In this business, if it sounds too good to be true, well, then it probably is. I'm Jeff Stewart with Reliant Air Conditioning, and if you're tired of crazy gimmicks, give us a call. Our techs don't work on commission, and we don't do high-pressure sales. Right now, with Carrier's Cool Cash, you can save over $3,500 on a new Infinity system. Plus, you might also qualify for an additional $1,800 off from your utility provider. So call the other guys first, and then call Reliant Air Conditioning, and you'll see how we've been gimmick-free since '83. Our number's 877-YOUR-HERO. That's 877-968-7437 or ReliantAirConditioning.com.
Reliant Air Conditioning. Call 877-YOUR-HERO.
Nothing interrupts a productive day like feeling worn out. And nothing interrupts a good night's sleep like snoring. It's not just your other half who feels the pain.
Honey, roll over!
Snoring and sleep apnea leave you tired during the day and increase your risk for health problems. Isn't it time to shut down snoring for good? Simple Sleep Services has the solution that really works without painful surgery, creepy CPAP machines, or bulky masks. Just a comfortable custom mouthpiece. And Simple Sleep's provided more in 5 years than anyone in the U.S. It's covered by medical insurance, and there's no pain or downtime. With Simple Sleep, you'll have more energy every day and more restful relaxation at night.
Honey, roll over.
Visit our full service centers in Dallas and Fort Worth, online at simplesleepservices.com, or call us at 469-685-1700. Simple Sleep, 469-685-1700.
SimpleSleepServices.com.
Are you a responsible person who finds yourself growing deeper and deeper in credit card debt and you're not sure how to fix the problem? Then get ready for a toll-free number that will put you on a path to financial recovery. Trinity Debt Management is a nonprofit organization that will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, put a stop to late fees and over-limit charges, and reduce your interest rates by as much as 60%. You'll save thousands and become debt-free for keeps. It's not a loan. It's a smart way to relieve your stress, meet your obligations, and preserve your self-respect. If your debt has you down, we should talk. Gather up your bills and call this toll-free number for a free, no-obligation debt analysis. 1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976. If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
As a listener of the financial diva Victoria Woods on this station, you know that she only makes two statements about the market with absolute certainty. It's going to go up and it's going to go down. Volatility is part of investing, and if that's a roller coaster ride you're just not interested in taking anymore, it's time to consider protecting a minimum of 25% of your hard-earned retirement dollars. Call 888-838-3482 today. If you're 10 to 15 years from retirement, having the right balance of protection and growth in your retirement portfolio is one way to rest easy when the market is doing cartwheels. Call Chapelwood Financial Services at 888-838-3482 to discover how you can have that balanced plan. Protection of a portion of your assets is the foundation of your retirement plan. Don't lose another minute of sleep worrying about the next market correction. Contact Chapelwood Financial at 888-838-3482 or email office@chapelwood.com. That's 2 P's and 1 L to ask how you can protect your money today. That's 888-838-3482.
It's time to honor our veterans with the Starkey Mortgage Veteran of the Month. If you know a veteran who deserves this honor, then go to 660amtheanswer.com and nominate them to be the Starkey Mortgage Veteran of the Month. Winners will receive a gift card from Crossroads Diner, a $100 gift card from the Crazy Gun Dealer, and an award from Starkey Mortgage. Plus, come up to the studios to meet Mark Davis and John David Wells. Go to 660amtheanswer.com to nominate your veteran. That's the Starkey Mortgage Veteran of the Month. Starkey Mortgage is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 2146. This is not a commitment to lend. Specific underwriting guidelines must be met.
Did you pay a lot for that top-of-the-line mattress and it's already breaking down? Time to go to Savin. Eric Nadel for Savin European Sleep Systems. The Savin bed is made with certified organic mattress covers and 100% natural latex foam cushioning, not polyurethane or memory foam. It's more comfortable too, custom tailored for individualized comfort based on your size and sleeping position. Why buy a Savin? Why even consider anything else? It's simply a better mattress. Savin European Sleep Systems. In Dallas and Southlake, go to savin.com.
660 AM, The Answer. 660 AM, TheAnswer.com. The Wells Report, a daily good old-fashioned North Texas barbecue of anybody trying to take advantage of us on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells, and let's find out what the amazing Mark Davis has planned for us tomorrow morning on 660 AM The Answer. Mark.
Hey, JD, good Tuesday evening. It is happening, everybody. If people just pay attention, you don't have to consume every disconnected minute of the Democrat convention to understand why its values should motivate every conservative to get out of the funk and get on board for stopping the Hillary presidency. We'll have an update on the latest on that quest tomorrow morning. And, of course, the latest overnight news. Mark Davis Show. See you in the morning, 7 to 10 a.m. right here on 660 AM, The Answer.
Thanks very much, Mark. I sincerely appreciate it. So Bill Clinton comes and does a truly good job, considering what he has to work with for the Democrat National Convention in Philadelphia. Does exactly the right thing. You really have to admire the structure of that speech. I mean, he humanizes Hillary. He puts her in a light that she doesn't spend a lot of time in. The community organizer, if you will, the political operative that makes things happen. The change agent, mentioned several times. I'm not exactly sure that there'd be much change in what we've seen in the Hillary Clinton presidency if she was to take over for Bill Clinton. I don't see that there would be much of a change. I don't see the country being in better shape after she was finished. What we have seen in this presidential news cycle is a very ugly phase of elitist politics on both sides of the fence. And it is ugly. And I'm going to tell you something else. I don't care what your politics are. I don't know whether you believe that not Bill Clinton, but Donald thing that ever happened to American politics. I don't know, and I, for the purpose of this statement, it doesn't matter much to me. I mean, I appreciate your point of view. Don't get me wrong, but it sure was nice to see a party president addressing the party convention. There are two Republican presidents that made the decision to not take part in the party's conventions. And I think that that was a serious mistake. It's a mistake on one hand, it's not on the other. It would have been nice to hear President Bush speak again. President George W. Bush. It would be nice to hear George H.W. Bush speak too. But I think that they have decided to carve out a comfortable place in the past of the Republican Party instead of having to deal with the very serious difficulties of Republican life in the future. But it sure would have been nice to hear them speak. You're listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number 866-660-5759. Couple of more calls regarding President Clinton's speech tonight. And there's room for you as well. 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. You're listening to the Wells Report. This is 660 AM The Answer.
Ever notice that the last three letters in American spell can? Maybe that's why we want to say we can shop online, we can use free Wi-Fi, and we can give our social security number and other personal information to our bank if we want to. But the fact that we can do all of those things exposes personal information that can lead to identity theft. At LifeLock, we believe you have the right to be free to do everything you do every day. So we use proprietary technology to detect and alert you to a huge variety of identity threats. And we have a US-based team who will work to resolve issues if your identity ever is stolen. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but with LifeLock, you can live with more peace of mind. Membership starts at $9.99 a month plus applicable taxes. And if you become a LifeLock member now, you can get 10% off. Go to lifelock.com and enter promo code NEWS. LifeLock.
Hey, it's Mark Davis for my friends at Climate Evangelista Eye Center. Imagine something a little bit down the road. You're setting up your fantasy football team. Here comes the season, but you can't really see the screen on the computer or your phone or tablet. Are you going to let your buddy see you pull out those reading glasses you've been borrowing from the wife? How lame is that? Don't give away your man card just yet. Call the folks at Climate Evangelista Eye Center. Schedule a free consultation to see if you're a candidate for the corneal inlay procedure. Treat that over 40 vision thing we all know about. We both know your vision isn't going to miraculously get better.
Check, 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 check. When it was the VP pick's chance to talk during the Republican National Convention, we were all pleasantly surprised by Mike Spence. Who is Tim Kaine? I'm sorry. Excuse me. When it came time for the running mate of the Republican presidential nominee to speak, we all were pleasantly surprised by Mike Pence. Who is Tim Kaine and what is he going to talk about? And oh, by the way, what language will he use? Coming up on the next edition of the Wells Report, we're going to spend coming up on the next edition of the Wells Report, we'll spend some time talking about day 3 of the Democrat National Convention. Don't miss it here on 660 AM The Answer. Mark Davis, this is going to be Wednesday, right? Mark Davis, good Wednesday morning, my brother. Thank you very much for giving me this time to come by and say hello. It'll be day 3 of the Democrat National Convention when Mark Davis, thanks very much for letting me have this opportunity to come by and say good morning on Wednesday. Coming up later on this evening during the Wells Report, we're going to spend some time talking about day 3 of the Democrat National Convention. When it was the VP's turn to speak at the Republican National Convention last week, Mike Pence really did a great job. Who's Tim Kaine? What will he have to say? What language will he use? We'll find that out and a lot more next time on the Wells Report.
He sits down with you and says, let's arrive at an agreed upon price and an agreed upon time frame. If that house of yours does not sell at that price in that time frame, he, Josh DeShong, simply buys your house. That's it. You're out. You're at closing. You move on. So call him and call him today. Don't waste a day. 972-325-6644. 972-325-6644. D Magazine Best Realtor 3 years in a row. I'll love him forever. Josh DeShong. GetSold.net. 972-325-6644.
Hi, this is Forrest Jackson for Jackson's Mosquito and Pest Control. Folks, mosquitoes in North Texas are a serious problem and threaten the health and happiness of your family. Allow us to help protect you. Jackson's has mosquito specialists standing by with multiple treatment options to help safeguard your home. From one-time pest treatments to full-fledged mosquito control systems, Jackson's has you covered. Take back your yard with Jackson's Mosquito and Pest Control. Call now, 214-350-1101. That's 214-350-1101. Or visit us at jacksonsmc.com.
In Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 2, God says, write in a book all the words I've spoken to you. Is there a story in you today? Have you ever felt urged by God to write those words in a book? Zulon Press is the largest, most experienced Christian self-publisher in the world, and they're offering a free publishing guide at christianpublishingguide.com. They've helped thousands of people just like you tell their stories and touched thousands of lives.
Share your story and find out more today at 660amtheanswer.com. Visit 660amtheanswer.com now.
Learn a little something at the start of your day. The Mark Davis Show. Mornings 7 to 10 on 660 AM. The Answer. Only for Texas. This is the Wells Report with John David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number 866-660-5759. Benjamin, thanks for joining us. What did you think of President Bill Clinton's speech tonight before the Democrat National Convention?
Hey, JD.
Hey, buddy.
I thought it was kind of hilarious on one point because Bill Clinton says that Hillary Clinton was the very first person to start a online terrorism task force. But yet her emails are the ones that got hacked. So I would say everybody on that task force needs to be fired.
I would say, I mean, you know, all I can tell you on that is I was really surprised about that whole thing. I'm still reeling, actually.
And one other skeptical little point on that issue.
Yeah.
Is the NSA ran by the State Department, or is it itself a different entity?
It is.
Because
it is its own deal. It's its own agency, all by itself.
So I'm pretty sure that the NSA has been keeping track of security for a while now, right?
Yeah.
So is that real or made up?
Well, they wouldn't want you to know, and they wouldn't necessarily want the government to know that they had everything sucked up in, you know, the giant vacuum cleaners of the NSA. They don't want you to know that. Okay. So chances are not very likely that they would make it obvious that they did. All I can say is that, yeah, I think that if we're going to get anything untoward regarding, you know, just exactly what's going on behind the scenes, it'll probably come from someplace like WikiLeaks. And from what I understand, there is more stuff that is due to be released tomorrow. I'm not sure, but I've got some words that I want to share with you on that. I'll get to those in just a little bit. Cowgirl in Arlington, welcome to the Wells Report. Hello.
Hey, JD. Listen, he's a great storyteller. He has told some
some unbelievable stories, right?
Yeah.
This is quaint. It was a family, winding road. At the end of the day, he's from Hope. She wanted change. So maybe they're the original Hope and Change. He exhibited, they exhibited efforts, to and accomplishments, but it was all for the wrong cause. I mean, it was a great story, but it was all for the detriment and to the downfall. And I think Obama he was jealous of the first Black American president. He took the agenda and he doubled down and tripled down, and it's just she is going to make Obama's term look innocent.
Well, Dinesh D'Souza earlier tonight said that called Hillary Clinton a gangster. I mean, wow. I mean, that's a very serious charge. The thing about it is he kind of has the facts to back it up too. I was looking at this town hall column by Dinesh D'Souza, 7 things the left doesn't want you to know about their history. Okay. All right. 866-660-5759, 866-660-5759. Last night, Kirsten Gillibrand took to the DNC stage to talk about the values of America, the values that Hillary Clinton embodies, if you believe the story. Quote, "We have a responsibility to one another," she said. "It's about who we are as a nation. It's why after law school, Hillary could have gone to a fancy law firm, but she chose to work at the Children's Defense Fund, where she advocated for children with disabilities." Nice story, but is it true? Hillary Clinton points, Ann Coulter points out that after law school, Hillary could have taken a high-paying job at Washington or New York, but instead she went to work for the Children's Defense Fund. There's only one problem. In her memoir, she writes, "I had taken both the Arkansas and Washington, D.C. bar exams during the summer, but my heart was pulling me towards Arkansas. When I learned I had passed in Arkansas but failed in D.C., I thought maybe my test scores were telling me something. There's no shame in failing the bar exam, but you can't turn around and say you made a selfless choice to work someplace else. It's hard to give someone credit for a choice they made when they had no other option," said Ann Coulter. Okay. All right. That is subjective. Some people are kind of having a little bit of sport with the with the president's speech. As you know, it opened in the spring of 1971. I met a girl. Yeah. And apparently there were some there were some replies. In the spring of 1971, I met a girl. Somebody came back with, "You have to be more specific, Bill." In the spring of 71, I met a girl. Derek wrote, "How many women until the story gets to Hillary, Bill?" In the spring of 1971, I met a girl. Kitty wrote, "And then I met another and another and another, and well, you know how this story goes." Amanda Kemp wrote, "In the spring of 1971, I met a woman, and a couple of weeks later, I met another one. A few years later, met another and another." Okay, that's basically the same one. Can I read this one? You didn't read all of them? Can I say that? Anthony Bialy said, in 1971, in the spring of 1971, I met a girl who let me bonk other girls as long as I let her have access to power. Wow. In the spring of Bob Sassone wrote, "In the spring of 1971, I met a girl, but I'm here tonight to talk about Hillary." That's my favorite so far. In the spring of 1971, I met a girl. Does he remember if it was Hillary? Said Eric Meyer. El Super, who occasionally rattles my cage on my tweet, says, in the spring of 1971, I met a girl. And every spring since then, he's met some girl and most months and weekends. Yeah, it's like the Swallows coming back to Capistrano, although that may be a bad choice of words. Richard O'Malley. In the spring of 1971, I met a girl. She was hot, and sitting right next to her was Hillary. Wow. Really? Jack wrote this. In the spring of 1971, I met a girl, and every spring after that. That's it. No, we're not going to say those two. Okay, those are not going to be out there. I'm sorry. I should have read those. In the spring of 1971, I met a girl, and sitting right next to her, she was hot, and right next to her, there was Hillary. 866-660-5759, 866-660-5759. Bill Clinton, a player. Let's see a couple of other things here before we move on from Democrat politics. By the way, before we do this, you really need to go to Town Hall Magazine. Town Hall Magazine for July 26th. What? Oh, yes. I'm sorry. You're right. You really do need to go to Town Hall Magazine as a part of the Wells Report blog at 6:60 a.m. The Answer. Thank you. 6:60 a.m. TheAnswer.com. And there you will find Dinesh D'Souza's latest column, 7 Things the Left Does Not Want You to Know About Their History. And so, thank you. Thank you. Anyway, you need to do that. I'd really like to talk about that, but I really can't. Let's move on. 2 days after an email scandal forced her resignation as the head of the Democrat Party, Florida Representative Deborah Wasserman Schultz could be on her own in what is going to turn out to be a suddenly tough re-election battle. Fellow House Democrats are turning their back and withholding their money while contributions pour in for her primary opponent. Soon after Wasserman Schultz was booed Monday during a Florida delegation breakfast in Philadelphia, Democrat primary foe Tim Canova wrote to his 20,000 Twitter followers, "It's time to end her political career for good." The tactic appears to be working. He's raised about $100,000 in the 72 hours since the scandal erupted, all without leaving South Florida or picking up the phone to dial for dollars. Yet officials with the Democrat Congressional Campaign Committee made it clear they have no plans to spend money to save her. Whoa. Top committee leaders told reporters they do not spend money on safe Democrat seats, which hers is, because they need to save resources for states they're trying to save or flip. Wow. So I don't know exactly how that works out, whether or not the Democrat Congressional Campaign Committee is serious about not supporting her because they believe that her seat is safe. Probably is. I mean, it's really hard to defeat a sitting congressman. And I guess it should be. But I find it interesting that the idea of convenience, which is to let Deborah Wasserman Schultz handle it on her own, works to the benefit of the Democrat Congressional Campaign Committee saving some money. I think that's kind of interesting. Also, by the way, while we're speaking about Democrats behaving badly, Representative Hank Johnson, I don't know whether you remember him or not. He was the guy that said that more people were moving to Guam than should be moving to Guam, and that he was concerned that the island was going to capsize. Apparently, he failed his earth science classes. Apparently. Anyway, Representative Hank Johnson, the Democrat from Georgia, is a Democrat superdelegate, pledged to Hillary Clinton, and he likened Jewish citizens living in disputed areas of Palestinian territories to termites that destroy homes. His comments came during an event on the sidelines of the Democrat National Convention hosted by the U.S. Campaign to End the Israeli Occupation, an anti-Israel organization that supports boycotts of the Jewish state. Johnson also claimed that Jewish people were stealing Palestinian homes, apologized multiple times for his remarks after the Washington Free Beacon reported his statements, which sparked outrage in the Jewish community and elsewhere. Quote, "There's been a steady stream, almost like termites, that can get into a residence and eat before you know that you've been eaten up and you fall in on yourself. There has been settlement activity that has marched forward with impunity and an ever-increasing rate to the point where it has become alarming," said Johnson. Wow. Johnson eventually apologized for his, quote, poor choice of words, but he doubled down on his criticism of Israeli settlers, who he said undermined the two-state solution. The two-state solution. As if there was a two-state solution. I mean, Israel's done everything they could to create a two-state stage solution. Nothing so far. Nothing has worked so far. 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. Coming up after the top of the hour, we're going to spend some time talking to a guy who will explain to us in no uncertain terms just exactly why socialism does not and will not work. You don't want to miss this. This is the Wells Report.
We all know life can get crazy and you're not always near a radio, but one thing is for sure, your phone goes everywhere with you. And now we can too. Download the 660 AM The Answer app to your phone and listen live wherever you go. If you miss any of the Mark Davis Show or the Wells Report, you can catch up whenever, wherever. Plus, dial the 660 AM The Answer studio directly from the app. And it's free. We make it easy to stay connected. Download our app now. 660 AM The Answer.
Hey, it's Mark Davis for my friends at Good Feet. One of the reasons it's such a joy to hang out with these folks is they have such great stories of helping people who have tried other things that did not work. And getting out of foot pain is a thing of joy to behold. Ask them at Plano, Fort Worth, and Southlake, the 3 locations of Good Feet, or go to goodfeetdfw.com. Listen, as one of the good folks at Good Feet talks about what it's like to help people, to watch them come in for a solution that actually works.
For most of the people that walk in our store, it's been an ongoing, nonstop issue. They're searching, they're grasping at straws because they've been trying other products and they've bought something that they thought was going to help solve their problem, and it didn't.
The good people of Good Feet with solutions that are real, not the plasticky gel, one size fits most nonsense. Nope, but the sizes, the styles for men, for women. Get out of pain today. That foot pain can become back pain, hip pain, leg pain. GoodFeetDFW.com, Plano, Fort Worth, or Southlake. GoodFeetDFW.com. Check them out today.
Are you ready to start making an extra $2,000, $5,000, or even $15,000 a month? We've paid out over $51 million in commissions, and this year we will pay out over $100 million to people just like you. The world's premier internet marketing and training company, Mobe, will be in the Dallas area to teach people how they can make thousands of dollars online, part-time from home. Attend this event and receive a $395 gift. The best part is you don't need to be an expert to make money with the system. If you're ready to control your financial destiny, then then you must join us at this free 90-minute I Am Freedom workshop. Attend this free training and you will also get our award-winning Entrepreneur Starter Kit. You'll learn the 10 key traits of a successful entrepreneur, the 7 most common myths about starting a business, and much more. Our $395 home study course, yours free, just for calling now and attending. To reserve your free seats here in the Dallas area, call 800-978-4107. That number again is 800-978-4107. You will also receive for free Matt's new book, Limitless. 800-978-4107. Call now.
Once upon a time, a girl named Goldilocks was searching for the perfect mattress. One was too hard. Ouch. One was too soft. Ugh. But one was just right. Then, when she tried to sleep, it squeaked, it rattled, it moved. It was the old metal bed frame, and it was unbearable.
It's time to get the Embrace bed frame by Knickerbocker. Why would you spend thousands of dollars on a quality mattress and then put it on an ugly, noisy metal frame that you have to hide with a dust ruffle? Get the Embrace bed frame by Knickerbocker. It will eliminate noise, motion transfer, and protect your mattress from sagging. Knickerbocker foundations are made in the USA and come with a limited lifetime warranty. They're available in 5 colors, look beautiful, and require no tools for assembly. It's time for a better bed frame from Knickerbocker.
Finally, Goldilocks got smart and got a Knickerbocker Embrace bed frame, and it was just right.
Visit your local furniture or mattress store and ask for the Embrace bed frame by Knickerbocker.
Imagine someone stealing your home without even breaking in. Think it's not possible? Think again. Have you or your aging parents already fallen victim to deed fraud, known as house stealing? The FBI is calling house stealing the fastest growing white-collar crime in America. The scariest part, most people have no idea their home title was transferred, often to a person the homeowner knows and trusts, like a caregiver or family member. Now, there is a fraud alert service where homeowners and their loved ones can check risk-free that they're not already a victim. It's called HomeTitleLock.com, and it also alerts you if someone may be trying to scam you out of your home. Try Home Title Lock monitoring risk-free today and receive your home's title history, a $59 value, absolutely free. Deed fraud is increasingly targeting seniors. Protect your biggest asset and don't lose your family home forever. To make sure you're not already a victim, go to HomeTitleLock.com. That's HomeTitleLock.com. HomeTitleLock.com.
The Texas Scorecard, a Texas news magazine for all Texans. News and information about issues facing the Lone Star State from Texans you trust. Get the Texas Scorecard in print. Get it online. Get it in your inbox. Subscribe for free by texting Scorecard to 313131 or visit TexasScorecard.com. Someone is always keeping score, and we think it ought to be the taxpayers.
Saying I don't know is no longer acceptable. This is 660 AM, The Answer. You're hearing tomorrow's front page on the Wells Report with John David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number 866-660-5759. Some good news today. Donald Trump Jr. says he'd love to make New York City great again by running for mayor after he's helped his father win the White House. Trump Jr., who scored very high marks for his standout appearance at the Republican National Convention, said he had a good time up there. He found it exciting to be able to have a platform like that to speak my voice. And when asked point blank whether he'd like to take over City Hall in New York, a notion first floated by pundits in the Post last week, the younger Trump said, "I never like to rule anything out. As my father has always said, we always like to keep our options open. So if I can do that as a service to our country, I'd love to do it." Wow. He's 38 years old. He didn't rule out challenging embattled Mayor Bill de Blasio next year, but said, right now I'm more concerned about getting my father in the Oval Office because I know he will do a wonderful job with that. 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. You're listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Coming up after the top of the hour, we're going to spend a little bit of time talking with a guy who is completely and totally brilliant. His name is Thomas DiLorenzo. He's the professor of economics at Loyola University, senior fellow at the Ludwig von Mises Mises Institute and author. He's got a book out called The Problem with Socialism, and you want to hear what he has to say on the Wells Report next.
Look, honey, this ad says we can get a new air conditioning unit for only $1,500.
That's incredible. Let's get it now.
There you go. Enjoy.
Wait, what?
You didn't think we'd install it for that price, did you?
There you go, folks. In this business, if it sounds too good to be true, well, then it probably is. I'm Jeff Stewart with Reliant Air Conditioning, and if you're tired of crazy gimmicks, give us a call. Our techs don't work on commission, and we don't do high-pressure sales. Right now, with Carrier's Cool Cash, you can save over $3,500 on a new Infinity system. Plus, you might also qualify for an additional $1,800 off from your utility provider. So call the other guys first, and then call Reliant Air Conditioning, and you'll see how we've been gimmick-free since '83. Our number's 877-YOUR-HERO. That's 877-968-7437 or ReliantAirConditioning.com.
Reliant Air Conditioning. Call 877-YOUR-HERO.
If you or someone you love is suffering from hearing loss, please stay tuned for a special free offer from the makers of a revolutionary hearing breakthrough called Listen Clear. Listen Clear is precisely designed by top audio engineers to fit the ear almost invisibly, and it can be adjusted to find the perfect way to hear everything in every listening environment. Right now, we're offering absolutely free in-home trials to everyone who calls now. 1-800-600-0738. Call in the next 10 minutes, and you'll also receive free shipping and free batteries for life. Listen Clear is lightweight and practically invisible, so people won't notice when you're wearing it. So again, if you or someone you love is suffering from hearing loss, please give them or yourself this life-changing 100% free in-home trial with free shipping and free batteries for life. For free information, call now. 1-800-600-0738. That's 1-800-600-0738. 1-800-600-0738.
At Lumber Liquidators, we're kicking off our summer stack-out sale with special deals at every store. Overstock floors, small lots, and more are priced to move. Get unheard-of clearance deals at select stores on 2,000 varieties of pre-finished hardwood from just 59 cents. Special buys like durable strand carbonized bamboo. It's just $169. North American and European laminate up to 20% off, with some deals from just 29 cents. And special financing. Visit LumberLiquidators.com to find a store near you and get to the summer stack-out sale today.
660 AM The Answer. KSKY of Balch Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth. The official radio station of Decision 2016. The most important election of our lifetime.
Fox News Radio, I'm Rich Dennison. Hillary Clinton is now the first woman nominated for president by a major U.S. party following Tuesday's roll call at the Democratic National Convention. Former President Bill Clinton taking the stage Tuesday night.
She's insatiably curious. She's a natural leader. She's a good organizer. And she's the best darn change maker I ever met in my entire life.
More protests Tuesday by supporters of Bernie Sanders. The Vatican expressing shock over the death of a French priest whose throat was slit by attackers tied to ISIS while he was delivering Mass.
Mass is it's a sacred event in a sacred time. Which makes this event all the worse.
Greg Burke with the Vatican Press Office. The actress who became famous playing the Jamaican psychic Miss Cleo has died.
Call me now for your free tarot reading.
Yuri Del Harris was 53. Her lawyer says Harris died of cancer. Fox News. We report, you decide.
660 AM The Answer.
This is Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, and I'd like to invite you to join me for our talk show every Sunday morning. We're actually trying to convert the world to organics. We talk about the natural organic program for farming, ranching, gardening, and pest control. Also, a lot of talk about health issues for animals and people. Hope you can join us for all the fun.
Make sure to tune in to Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, every Sunday morning from 8 to 11 a.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer.
This is Hugh Hewitt for townhall.com. The California Senate recently passed a bill that threatens the ability of faith-based institutions across the Golden State to function according to their religious beliefs. The bill, SB 1146, is now being considered by various committees within the California Assembly. If passed and signed by Governor Jerry Brown, the bill would require any entity that receives state funding or enrolls students who receive state financial assistance to abide by expansive so-called non-discrimination provisions. The bottom line, religious schools would no longer be able to limit admissions of students or employment of people of their particular religious faith Nor would these schools be able to maintain certain codes of conduct, housing policies, and other policies according to their faith convictions. It's an ominous piece of legislation. If you care about religious freedom, please visit opposesb1146.com. That's opposesb1146.com and do what you can to stop the bill.
Hey, it's Mark Davis for my friends at Patriot Mobile. It's certainly a year of decision. Maybe this is a day of decision for you. The day you decide to stop doing business with cell companies that do business with Hillary Clinton. Big mobile companies I could name funnel your money to her for president. If you'd like to stop that, switch to Patriot Mobile, 1-800-A-PATRIOT, or patriotmobile.com for more info. Same quality of service, better prices, support better causes at Patriot Mobile. Join the revolution. Here's the special, free Samsung Galaxy S7. It's new, it's great. Samsung Galaxy S7 free, unlimited talk, text, and data for just $70. Mention or enter promo code MARK at checkout, and they'll waive activation fees for up to 2 lines. Call 1-800-A-PATRIOT. Also, we'll throw in a free signed copy by me of Lone Star America, How Texas Can Save Our Country. Just a little thanks from me for doing business with my friends at Patriot Mobile. 1-800-A-PATRIOT or patriotmobile.com. Same quality of service, better prices, support better causes. Join the revolution, patriotmobile.com.
As a listener to this station, you've heard a variety of companies advertising their products and services, many of them for a number of years.
I'm Walt Parker with InvestingMakesMeSick.com. I've gotten absolutely great results. No matter who's advertising, it definitely pays off. Doesn't matter what business they're in. I think they'll find it's going to be very rewarding.
My name is John Duncan, and I'm the CEO and founder of Viascan of Las Colinas. It's simply the most effective advertising that I can do. I've advertised for the last 14 years on television, radio, and newspaper, and advertising with 660 gets the best results.
Hi, I'm Marcia West, Senior Account Manager for 660 AM The Answer. For 20 years, I've worked with companies, both big and small, to create cost-effective radio campaigns that get results. Let me do the same for you. Contact me today at mwest@ksky.com. That's mwest@ksky.com. I want to help you grow your business.
Hey, everybody. Mark Davis from my friends at Viascan of Las Colinas. Simple question. What are we trying to do? Well, Mark, what do you mean? I mean, what are we trying to do? Let's make the list. Eat healthy, lose weight. That's all good. But listen, on that list somewhere, keep aware of our own bodies. Try to fend off heart attacks and cancer by being aware of what's going on inside us. Scan technology exists, and Viascan prices give us the motivation to do the job right. At Viascan of Las Colinas, John Duncan and the crew are there for you at a number I'm about to share so that you can see through the heart scan if you have plaques or blockages going on in your heart. See through the body scan what's going on in various other vital organs, maybe any pesky cancers that are festering there that you can detect early, the virtual colonoscopy, and so much more so we can stay healthy, stay on the planet, stay plugged into life. 972-739-2840. Call them. 972-739-2840 or just Google Viascan.
Hey there, this is Eric Metaxas. Lately, I've been telling you about Liberty University's online degree programs. Liberty University is the world's largest Christian university with over 95,000 students studying around the world through Liberty's online programs. While there are a lot of universities who've jumped into online education, few can deliver on the promise of a quality education with such flexibility, and even fewer can actually point to a graduate of their online program like my friend Morgan from Nashville.
I did it. I actually got my degree from Liberty University. 2 degrees, actually. Not only has this process taught me self-discipline, I've also learned that it is never too late to fulfill your dreams. And I did it all online. I did it, and you can too.
Call Liberty University now at 800-424-9595. That's 800-424-9595, 800-424-9595, or visit liberty.edu/online. Flexible, affordable, possible. Liberty University online.
660 AM. 660 AM. The Answer. 660 AM. TheAnswer.com. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is the Wells Report with John David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Apparently, there are big brain people out there that know lots and lots of stuff that's really important for all of us. not the least of which, of course, is Thomas DiLorenzo. He is the professor of economics at Loyola University, senior fellow at the Ludwig von Mises, I hate Mises to pieces, Institute, and he's also an author. His latest work is called The Problem with Socialism. This is a fascinating book. And sir, professor, thanks very much for joining us. Great to have you here tonight.
I'm pleased to be with you, JD.
So how's everything in Loyola?
Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Us conservative economists and free market guys like me are usually like lone wolves in academia.
Uh-huh.
But the way I look at it is I got them all surrounded.
There you go. It's your job to be surrounded. You're a conservative. You're equal to the
Yes, sir.
task. I like that.
That's right.
Professor, talk to me a little bit. By the way, a professor of economics at Loyola, big deal. That is fantastic. Congratulations. I am very impressed with that. How did we get to a point in our society where we decided suddenly it was okay to tax the wealthy into the poorhouse to pay for everybody else's education or whatever else happened to pop into a politician's head? I mean, when I was a kid, I was like 9 years old. My dad had this conversation. There are not enough rich people, et cetera, on and on and on. How did we get to the point where this sophistry became actual potential government policy?
Envy is one of the 7 deadly sins. And so I think it's a politician's favorite sin too, isn't it? It's very easy to make an appeal to envy to play the class warfare game. And so it makes sense from a political perspective, if you're a politician, to pit one group of people against another, especially if the beneficiaries of this outnumber the losers. And that is certainly true when you talk about the rich. But by the way, the situation we're in now is the top 50% of income earners in America pay about almost 98% of all income tax. And so it's not just the rich, whoever the rich are, it's the middle class and the upper middle class and everybody above that. And the lower 50% of income earners only pay 2 to 3% of all the income tax in the country. And so it's in their interest, of course, to keep voting for higher taxes and bigger government because they're the beneficiaries of all kinds of government programs, much more than what they pay for.
So what you're saying basically is that when we look at the way we are in America with 50% contributing arguably a very small amount to the overall tax picture, we're already halfway to socialism. Is that what you're saying?
Socialism started out as being government ownership of the means of production and the nationalization of industry and all that, but it evolved to mean income redistribution through the welfare state and the progressive income tax, all in the name of equality. And so, we're about halfway there. And then another measure you can look at as far as how far down the road to socialism we are is if you look at all the taxes collected by federal, state, and local governments, they're approaching 40% of national income. And then on top of that, we've got 75,000 pages in the Federal Register, which is sort of a fine print listing of all the regulations that apply to every business in America. And so you can make an argument in light of that our economy is about half socialist now, which is why I think we're sort of at a tipping point now. If we elect Hillary Clinton president, she's a lifelong socialist. She's known for Hillary Care, which was sort of an attempt to impose Soviet-style central planning on the entire healthcare sector of the economy. That's what she's known for. And she's already come out in favor of a government-funded higher education. She did that the day after she got the nomination. And she's also come out in favor of giving every child born $5,000 to accumulate until they're 18, voting age, by the way, when they can get the money. So talk about growing a big constituency of voters for bigger government. You turn voting age and the government will give you $10,000 or $15,000 out of nowhere. But that's her plan.
Wow, incredible. Thomas DiLorenzo is our guest. He is the professor of economics at Loyola University. He's the senior fellow at the Ludwig von Mises Institute and an author. His latest work is called The Problem with Socialism. It's right here. And the interesting illustration on the front page is someone with his nose growing. In other words, when it comes to socialism, lying is a big part of the actual selling process?
Yeah, that's Pinocchio on the front cover. And that's an actual picture of the cartoon character Pinocchio. For example, well, my last chapter is about myths and superstitions about capitalism that are spread by socialists. And if you look up like the website of this Democratic Socialists of America, it's an organization that quite a few members of Congress belong to, by the way, you'll see things like, well, they're in favor of business being for people but not for profit. And the socialists have been saying that for a long time. And it's kind of a catchy slogan. A lot of younger people in particular will hear that and they'll think, well, yeah, that's a good idea. But of course, the truth is no one can succeed in business in a competitive market unless you serve the people. You know, they're called customers. If you don't serve the people, you're not going to do well in business. You're not going to be in business. And so there are a lot of fundamental falsehoods about the business world that are spread like that by socialists. And I talk about quite a few of them in my book. There's 16 short chapters, and it's very readable. I tried to make it about the level of, say, a college freshman could understand, because that's my main target audience. You know, there was this opinion poll not too long ago that said 69% of the voters under 30 said they could vote for a socialist president.
Yeah, that was something that we wanted to spend a lot of time on. How did the millennials get played? How did they get hornswoggled? How did they get roped into this idea that socialism had any possibility of working? I mean, you're teaching them at Loyola University. I mean, how did these kids show up with this idea?
Yeah, well, none of my students have that idea, but a lot of them do. You know, many hundreds of thousands of them who are Bernie Sanders followers. Well, they haven't been taught anything, and I think it's a result of several decades of political correctness, which has essentially censored conservative viewpoints in the academic world. Not entirely, but people like me are like lone wolves here and there at the various universities. And we all get together at our own conferences once or twice a year, but it's sort of like a secret society almost, and it seems like it at times anyway. And so it's very appealing to the young people when they see a political demagogue saying things like, we think your education should be free. But, you know, when I say this, when I talk to my students about this, I tell them, well, you know, I don't work for nothing. I don't work for free, neither do any of your other professors. So how could it be that higher education could ever be free? It costs a lot of money for all these buildings and the gymnasiums and the sporting events and the stadiums and everything. And they immediately catch on. And a lot of them become resentful that politicians like Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton have sort of taken them as fools and offering them something for nothing. And they're very conscious. They're very worried about the public debt, believe it or not. At least my students are. I teach them about it and I show them the numbers. And they're not stupid. They know they're going to be on the hook to pay off all this debt for the rest of their lives, and they don't like that.
How did we ever get to a point where we have these multi-generational governmental projects? Why isn't that taxation without representation?
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, Thomas Jefferson himself, he wrote about the public debt, and he wrote about how it's immoral for the government to issue debt more than 20 years, because in his day, 20 years was a generation. And he said it was immoral for one generation to impose a debt on another. And that view pretty much prevailed until about World War I. And once we got into World War I, you know, the debt exploded, as it always does for big wars. And that was pretty much the end of the Jeffersonian ideal. And then, you know, of course, after that came all sorts of excuse makers. The famous economist John Maynard Keynes, you know, a lot of people have heard this phrase Keynesianism or Keynesian economics. It was really just a fancy-looking rationale for deficit spending to supposedly get us out of the Great Depression. It never worked. It never has worked. But the politicians really liked it because it was a prestigious academic from Cambridge University, and he made this very convoluted argument and numerous arguments, and that replaced the old Jeffersonian argument that it was immoral for people today to impose tax burdens on future generations who cannot defend themselves politically.
I hope that in my lifetime I'm able to get rid of all those things. I know that's almost blasphemy to the left, but we've got to get rid of Social Security. We have to get rid of this. I mean, why in heaven's name would you think for a moment that Social Security is anything close to what you are is worth anything close to what you're spending on it? I mean, it's ridiculous. How about giving me government savings bonds? How about that? Just give me those instead of this whoop-de-doop multi-generational Ponzi scheme Social Security thing. We've got to get rid of this stuff.
It is a tremendous Ponzi scheme, isn't it? It makes Bernie Madoff look like a used car thief by comparison. And, some countries have done something about it. Chile and even England some years ago made a deal with mostly the younger people, not people who are about ready to retire. But they said, here's the deal. You have to give up whatever you've put in so far, but then you're free to invest in whatever you want with your own income for your retirement. And they put some restrictions on it, like it had to be retirement investments, and you couldn't just speculate wildly on Wall Street or anything like that. But still, you had a lot more freedom to prepare for your own retirement. And so, there are countries that have stepped back and allowed a little more freedom with this. And that's going to have to happen here with as far as, being able to fund the next generation of retirees.
We've got Thomas DiLorenzo. He's the professor of economics at Loyola University, joining us on the Wells Report. The book is called The Problem with Socialism. Buy a copy for your millennial. It's very important. So they say that the real joy of socialism can be found in Scandinavian nations. I did a little reading on that, and there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of joy economically for all that stuff up there.
No, I have a chapter of the book called The Myth of Successful Scandinavian Socialism. And if you take Sweden, for example, Sweden was a very low-tax, minimal government, high level of economic freedom society in the late 19th, early 20th century. And as a result, they had the highest per capita income growth from the year 1870 until about 1950. And so, but then in the beginning in the 40s and the 50s, they started, the politicians started adopting a big welfare state. They started nationalizing industries, extremely progressive income tax, and heavy regulation of industry, socialism, in other words. And as a result, Sweden did not create a single net job from 1950 until 2005, according to the Swedish Economic Association, their association of professional economists. So they basically ate up all the capital that had been created by all these great Swedish inventors like Alfred Nobel, who invented dynamite, and the people who created Saab and Volvo automobiles, people like that. And they lived off of that. But then it all imploded in the 1980s, where they had hyperinflation and 500% interest rates in Sweden. And so they had a major cutback. They privatized some industries, cut marginal tax rates, deregulated many industries. But still, Sweden's per capita income today is still lower than Mississippi, our poorest state. And so it's a myth that there's some sort of utopia out there. And, a really funny thing was Bernie Sanders himself did an interview with Univision, the Latin American television station, recently. Yeah. And they asked him if he had any comments on the economic implosion of democratic socialist Venezuela, and he had nothing to say.
No.
For the first time in his adult life, he was speechless.
Yeah, he says, I'm not going to be talking about that. I'm going to be talking about a country that still has some wealth left over so that I can live my life as a socialist and ruin the rest of everybody else's life, all in the name of equality and socialism.
Yeah, this is the man who brags that he spent his honeymoon in Moscow.
Yeah.
In the darkest days of Soviet communism.
Yeah, and he's proud of it.
Yeah, he's proud of it. Yeah, he went there. What a romantic time that must have been.
Oh, yeah. Thomas DiLorenzo is our guest. He is the professor of economics at Loyola University, senior fellow at the Ludwig von Mises Institute, and an author. The latest work is The Problem with Socialism. Coming up in just a couple of seconds, how do we deprogram all of the damage that Bernie Sanders has done to the United States? You're listening to the Wells Report. This is 660 AM The Answer.
Sean Hannity lays out the truth about Hillary's email server.
Everything that Hillary had told us about these emails, everything she lied about. The whole thing here is one big, massive, corrupt lie. No other person would ever get away with the things that Hillary Clinton has gotten away with.
The Sean Hannity Show, afternoons at 2, right before Michael Medved at 5 on 660 AM. The Answer.
Hey, it's Mark Davis for my friends at Abacus Foundation Repair. You and I both know that the warmer, wetter seasons in Texas can give us real foundation problems. Wet spells, dry spells. Let me put you in touch with Abacus Foundation Repair if you even think you've got any kind of foundation problem. This is what I'd be glad you 7-2. 4,000. Call the right people first. Abacus Foundation Repair, 972-406-9000. Why are they the right people to call if you got cracks in the walls or sheetrock or doors that are sticking or any kind of suspicion? Because they're going to map your house with the skill of an engineer. Look for possible causes like a plumbing issue so the problem doesn't come back. When they're done, you get a lifetime warranty. You can transfer free and clear to any new owner. It adds to your home's value. North Texas homeowners trust Abacus Foundation Repair, so give them a call. 972-406-9000. Abacus, ABACUS. AbacusFoundationRepair.com. You'll be glad you called, so call 972-406-9000 or AbacusFoundationRepair.com.
I used to love wearing dresses and shorts. Then I started getting spider veins, and even worse, those embarrassing, bulging, varicose veins. For a while, I covered up my legs, but then I discovered Vein Clinics of America.
Vein Clinics of America is the oldest, largest, most experienced vein treatment center in the U.S. And for 35 years, they've been the leading expert in the treatment of vein disease. Using state-of-the-art laser and minimally invasive treatments, they can begin restoring the natural beauty of your legs in as little as an hour with no downtime, and most treatments are covered by your insurance.
My legs look great and feel great. I even love wearing summer dresses and shorts again.
Make sure your legs look and feel their best for summer. Call now and schedule a free fast-track consultation to find out how you can finally get rid of those embarrassing varicose and spider veins. Space is limited, so call 800-375-4806. That's 800-375-4806. 800-375-4806.
As a listener of the financial diva Victoria Woods on this station, you know that she only makes two statements about the market with absolute certainty. It's going to go up and it's going to go down. Volatility is part of investing, and if that's a roller coaster ride you're just not interested in taking anymore, it's time to consider protecting a minimum of 25% of your hard-earned retirement dollars. Call 888-838-3482 today. If you're 10 to 15 years from retirement, having the right balance of protection and growth in your retirement portfolio is one way to rest easy when the market is doing cartwheels. Call Chapelwood Financial Services at 888-838-3482 to discover how you can have that balanced plan. Protection of a portion of your assets is the foundation of your retirement plan. Don't lose another minute of sleep worrying about the next market correction. Contact Chapelwood Financial at 888-838-3482 or email office@chapelwood.com. That's 2 P's and 1 L to ask how you can protect your money today. That's 888-838-3482.
It's National Make-A-Will Month at LegalZoom.com, so it's time to take care of your will or trust. LegalZoom makes it easy. They're not a law firm, so there's no office visits or paying expensive hourly rates. Instead, you could save over $100 with LegalZoom's will or trust estate plan bundles. And if you don't know whether a will or trust is right for you, don't worry. You'll work with an independent attorney available in 48 states to get advice on what you need. Do the right thing this month at LegalZoom.com. LegalZoom.com.
660 AM, The Answer. 660 AM, TheAnswer.com. Isn't thinking so much more fun than getting yelled at? The Wells Report on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. I'm very happy to have Thomas DiLorenzo. He's a professor of economics at Loyola University and senior fellow at the Ludwig von Mises Institute and author. The name of the book is The Problem with Socialism, and Pinocchio's on the front. And in the back, you have the myths of capitalism that are completely untrue. You can learn an awful lot about economics in this book. So, Professor, tell us, how do we deprogram all these people who actually believe that the government can give them everything?
Well, mostly the young people we're talking about. Well, for my part, this book, The Problem of Socialism, the target audience is, the high school kid who graduates and is going off to college, and I would like his parents to get him a copy of this book or her a copy of this book before they go and enter the sort of the brainwashing academies that the universities have turned into. And it's going to be featured in the Conservative Book Club, which is a very big book club. And so what I would like to see is all these conservative parents giving their kids books like this. And so when they go off to school, they can get into some intelligent debates or discussions with their classmates and maybe, spread the word and get them to read this same kind of material too. And that way it'll have a multiplier effect. And, I teach in a school of business at my university. And a lot of my students, they love this television show, Shark Tank, because they love the idea of being your own boss when they get out of school, being an entrepreneur, making money. And so, when we talk about the millennial generation, it's not uniform out there. And they don't really, and very few of them that I run across think it's a good idea for the government to run any industry. That's sort of the Hillary Clinton generation, the dying off of the Bernie Sanders of the world, the old gray-haired socialists. But since I live in this world, the academic world, I see the young people all the time that they're like this. That think they're very receptive to these ideas about economic freedom and free markets, entrepreneurship, and so. But they need some substance. Yeah, they need some intellectual substance, and that's my purpose in writing a book like this that is written in a language that anybody can understand, in my opinion.
That's very, very cool. And of course, you really don't need to go very far. If you go to Venezuela right this very moment, I mean, the people are actually fighting for food.
Yes, it's pathetic. You can go online and read article after article. And there's one New York Times article that quoted a man who had just spent 1/3 of his monthly income just on toilet tissue. And he's asking a New York Times reporter, what am I going to do for the rest of the month with food and everything like that?
Oh, boy.
And so, and they only adopted socialism in 1999. It took them about 10 years to destroy their economy. And then it's been on this destructive path ever since then.
Somebody pointed out that Hugo Chavez's daughter is now the richest person in the country.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's been in the news. If you search this, the wealthiest person in Venezuela is the 35-year-old daughter of the late Hugo Chavez. She's reportedly worth $4.2 billion with a B, even though she never owned a business or had a job, I don't think, as far as I know. And that's what socialism does. There's a small political elite at the top who does very, very well, along with their political cronies, and everybody else is equally miserable. And our young people need to understand this.
Thomas DiLorenzo is the professor of economics at Loyola University. Sir, it is a pleasure and privilege to have you here. The book is The Problem with Socialism. Your millennial needs to read this. You can get it at all major bookstores. And, sir, thank you so much. If people want to know more about you, if they want to follow your work, where do they go and what do they do?
Well, I'm a columnist on a website called LewRockwell.com. It's a man's name, L-E-W, Rockwell.com. And there are several hundred of my articles on there. And I have my Amazon page on Amazon.com lists 8 or 9 of my books.
Professor, thanks so much for joining us. We're looking forward to having you back on as soon as humanly possible.
Thank you very much for having me, and have a great day.
We'll be back with more in just a moment. You're listening to 660 AM The Answer.
Hugh Hewitt says the president never wastes a tragedy.
It is not helpful for the president to bring up gun control when they're notifying families of victims. It just does not help. Come out and say, we support police, respect police, we stand behind police, we grieve with police. I do regret that the president brought up gun control in his remarks, but never let a crisis go to waste.
The Hugh Hewitt Show, weekday mornings at 5, right before Mark Davis at 7 on 660 AM. The Answer.
Hey, it's Mark Davis for my friends at Climate Evangelista Eye Center. Imagine something a little bit down the road. You're setting up your fantasy football team. Here comes the season, but you can't really see the screen on the computer or your phone or tablet. Are you going to let your buddy see you pull out those reading glasses you've been borrowing from the wife? How lame is that? Don't give away your man card just yet. Call the folks at Climate Evangelista Eye Center. Schedule a free consultation to see if you're a candidate for the corneal inlay procedure. Treat that over 40 vision thing we all know about. We both know your vision isn't going to miraculously get better. We can't turn back the actual clock. We can help you see the way you used to. Come on, 1-800-714-2020. Find the readers and find the phone. 1-800-714-2020. Take 5 minutes, get your questions answered, or visit myinlay.com. Health savings accounts, they'll take them, flex plans, affordable financing, 1-800-714-2020 or myinlay.com, Climate Evangelista Eye Center, myinlay.com, 1-800-714-2020.
Are you ready for the vacation of a lifetime? Then get on board for the Storyteller Cruise with 660 AM, The Answer. Join us October 23rd through the 30th with Matthew West.
Hello, my name is the child of the one true king.
along with pastor and Bible teacher Greg Laurie.
The highest calling of God is what God has called you to be. There is no higher thing. We're all called to do something.
Selah. Mr. Talkbox, and more. You and your family will travel aboard Holland America's New Amsterdam as we travel to Grand Turks, San Juan, St. Martin, and more. Best of all, enjoy music and inspiration from Matthew West and Pastor Greg Laurie. Space is very limited. Get details now at 660amtheanswer.com. We'll see you on the Storyteller Cruise from 660 AM, The Answer.
Are you or someone you know fighting cancer and struggling financially? If so, find out now if you qualify for Life Credit Company's Living Benefit Program. If qualified, you may receive up to 50% of your life insurance policy's death benefit now, while still providing coverage for your family. Cancer patients are nearly 3 times more likely to file bankruptcy than those without the disease. But cancer does not have to mean financial ruin if you qualify for Life Credit Company's Living Benefit Program. Make a 2-minute call now to Life Credit Company and find out if you're eligible to receive up to 50% of your policy's death benefit now, while still preserving coverage for your family. Call 800-981-8700. That's 800-981-8700. 2 minutes is all it takes. Call 800-981-8700 or learn more online at lifecreditcompany.com. That's lifecreditcompany.com.
Not available in all states. Based on actual cases, results may vary, not a solicitation for legal services. Have you received a letter or personal visit from the IRS? Has the IRS garnished your paycheck or seized your bank account? If so, you need to take action now. You're a target of the most powerful collection agency in the world, and you need representation you can trust. Don't get scammed by imitators and telemarketers' high-pressure tactics. At Wall & Associates, they develop trust with their clients through a free face-to-face consultation. They've saved their clients over $129 million in the past 5 years. Call 1-800-983-5313 now for your free face-to-face consultation. Ignoring your tax problem will only make it worse. Call 1-800-983-5313 to get immediate help. With over 30 years of experience, Wall & Associates has helped thousands of taxpayers, and they can help you. Call now, 1-800-983-5313, 800-983-5313, wallandassociates.net.
There's a new answer for people in need of serious pain relief. Lidocare has created a one-of-a-kind pain relief patch that blocks pain for up to 8 hours. With the only non-water-based lidocaine patch on the market, Lidocare uses patent-pending technology to desensitize aggravated nerves for an odor-free, ultra-flexible, dry, and light solution to pain. The Lidocare Pain Patch, from the makers of Blue Emu, for long-lasting relief you can wear. Available at CVS, Walgreens, and Amazon.
660 AM, The Answer. Now, the Wells Report with John David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. How you doing? Telephone number 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. I'm trying really, really hard not to talk about something that really bugged me today. But it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to do it. And so, unfortunately, I'm going to have to spend some time talking about the latest horrific barbarism from the religion of peace. You may have heard that I was very, very, very lucky to get to France this year. I was concerned about terrorism there, but we had no problems whatsoever. There was one moment when some young men apparently wanted to pick a fight with one of the guys in my group, and I being kind of a towering building looking kind of guy, mentioned in French that that was a bad idea and that they should move along and go on about their business. And their attentions were turned on me, and I sort of stopped and turned around and said, what are we going to do here, guys? And they walked away. That was the only real difficulty we had. But that, unfortunately, was not the case today. They killed a priest today at Gambetta Church near Rouen. It is right there, just inland a bit from Normandy in France, north of Paris. One of the attackers shouted, Allahu Akbar, as they killed an 84-year-old priest. They forced him to kneel and cut his throat. They videotaped it so they'd have a memento, I guess, and then performed a sermon in Arabic at the altar, according to the terrified witnesses that watched. The attackers have been claimed as soldiers by ISIS. They were known to French police before they cut the throat of 84-year-old priest Jacques Hamel. Saint-Étienne du Rouvray near Rouen. Both were shot dead by police marksmen as they emerged from the building, shouting Allahu Akbar, following the attack that also left a nun critically injured. French President Francois Hollande, who visited the scene today, said the country is now at war with ISIS after the terror group claimed responsibility for the attack. Jacques Hamel is not the regular priest at this church. He was filling in for someone when he was killed today. One of the killers was a French 19-year-old named Adel Kermiche, who is being monitored by electronic tag after being jailed twice for attempting to join ISIS in Syria. After being released from jail early, his bail terms allowed him to be unsupervised between 8:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. The attack happened between 9 and 11. He is the one understood to have forced the elderly priest to kneel, while his accomplice, who also lived locally and was also on a terror watch list, videoed the brutal killing. A third man, a 17-year-old known as HB, and believed to be a relative of Kermiche, was arrested at his home at Saint-Étienne du Rouvray following the attack. The Catholic Church involved in this was on the terror hit list, found in the apartment of a suspected ISIS extremist last April. Nobody's in there with a weapon. The church is on a suspected hit list. Found last April, and nobody's there. Former French President Nicolas Sarkozy called for a merciless response to the killing, while horrified ex-Prime Minister Jean-Pierre Raffarin said he feared everything is being done to trigger a war of religions. A nun who was in the church during the attack said the priest was forced to the ground before his throat was cut. They forced him to his knees. He wanted to defend himself. And that's when the tragedy happened. They recorded themselves. They did sort of a sermon around the altar in Arabic. It was a horror. The murdered clergyman was deputizing while the regular parish priest was on holiday. ISIS claimed responsibility for the attack in a statement published by Amaq. It said the killing was carried out by 2 soldiers of the Islamic State. It added the killing was in response to its calls to target countries of a U.S.-led coalition, which is fighting ISIS. There are few places in the world where being Catholic is more comfortable. France is a very, very, very Catholic place. And if these people want to attract misery upon themselves, they have figured out exactly how to do it. The French will take a great deal of abuse, but not when the abuse is focused on their priests. There's just not anything that will stop the French from solving that problem. Unless I completely miss my guess about the French. A lot of people say funny things about the French and the way they fight, but they'll fight. They just need the right reason. And this is it. They're not going to put up with this. Sadly, that is not the only bit of news. A family was executed after being caught trying to flee from ISIS. A family was trying to escape from ISIS savages in Iraq. The mother and father were captured along with the daughter as they tried to flee from Rashad village, southwest of Kirkuk in the north of the country. ISIS fanatics have tasked members with tracking down families trying to run away because these families represent cover for the ISIS fighters, human shields, which, by the way, is a war crime. The Holocaust was a world-stopping event because 6 million Jews were killed. What we are seeing, this fascist savagery in this country, is equal to anything as horrific as the Holocaust, except in number. But it seems to me that they're trying to catch up. The ISIS fanatics captured the mother and the father and the daughter. And I guess after some kind of kangaroo court trial, decided that they should be executed. And so they soaked their clothes in gasoline and set them afire. The daughter was 2 years old. 2 years old. PolitiFact has done some work on the Democrat National Convention. Tyler Page wrote about it in Politico. Based on our searches of C-SPAN, closed captioning text, congressional quarterly transcripts, and other video archiving services, there have been no speakers found who mentioned ISIS, Islamic terror, terrorism during the convention. As far as we know, Bill Clinton didn't talk about it. Hillary Clinton didn't talk about it. She talked about the glass ceiling. Why in heaven's name would you elect a candidate from a party who doesn't understand the party as a whole, that just doesn't understand worldwide terrorism? Why would you elect a president from that party unless you were expecting that worldwide terrorism to find its way to the United States? There are lots of Catholic churches in the United States. There are lots of knives. There are lots of priests. But there are not a lot of Democrats talking about terrorism. And now ISIS brings a war to the Christians of Europe in the slaughter of an 84-year-old priest. I don't know what to say, except for those people who, for whatever reason, continue to say it has nothing to do with us, these savages, these Islamic terrorist savages, have nothing to do with my religion or my faith or what have you. As long as they continue saying that, they will live under the thrall of suspicion and fear and anxiety. And as long as they refuse to rid themselves of the monsters in their midst, they are threatening to pay a price that they shouldn't have to pay. All we ask is that you stop these monsters. Because while you don't believe they belong to your faith, they do. You need to stop them. This is the Wells Report.
Be honest. Will owning a bigger TV help you get ahead in life? Will another pair of shoes make you a better person? Probably not. But what if you could speak another language? If acquiring a new language excites you more than acquiring more stuff, then wait until you hear this. As part of its biggest language learning event in history, Rosetta Stone is giving away demos of its powerful language learning software absolutely free. For your free demo, call 1-800-600-8119. And Rosetta Stone has made language learning more convenient than ever. Learn on your computer or iPad, then practice on the go with your smartphone or MP3 player without ever opening a book or memorizing boring vocabulary again. Do you want more stuff, or do you want a language that will last a lifetime? After all, it's all about priorities. To try a free demo of this powerful language learning software, call 1-800-600-8119. Again, get your free demo now. 1-800-600-8119. That's 1-800-600-8119.
This is a life-changing message for anyone with sleep apnea who is on the go and tired of dragging around a big, bulky home CPAP device. MiniCPAP.com now offers a portable device that's as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. For even more freedom, you can add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. It's called the Transcend Mini CPAP. And right now, you can try it risk-free for 10 days by calling 1-800-300-0338. Transcend is the world's first portable mini CPAP device. It gives you the freedom to sleep in total comfort anywhere you are. Our smallest and most advanced portable design ever, Transcend is so small and so light you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. Enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. Call minicpap.com now for your 10-day at-home trial. 1-800-300-0338. That's 1-800-300-0338.
As a listener to this station, you've heard a variety of companies advertising their products and services, many of them for a number of years.
I'm Walt Parker with InvestingMakesMeSick.com. I've gotten absolutely great results. No matter who's advertising, it definitely pays off. Doesn't matter what business they're in. I think they'll find it's going to be very rewarding.
My name is John Duncan, and I'm the CEO and founder of Bioscan of Las Colinas. It's simply the most effective advertising that I can do. I've advertised for the last 14 years on television, radio, and newspaper, and advertising with 660 gets the best results.
Hi, I'm Marcia West, Senior Account Manager for 660 AM The Answer. For 20 years, I've worked with companies, both big and small, to create cost-effective radio campaigns that get results. Let me do the same for you. Contact me today at mwest@ksky.com. That's mwest@ksky.com. I want to help you grow your business.
Dude, do you hear that? What is that? That is, oh, man.
Let me see what this does. Hey, is it better?
Nope. I'm pretty sure this is the opposite of better. Wait a minute, what are we gonna do? This is awful.
Looks like you need the help of American Leak Detection.
American Leak Detection.
Oh, man, it's Will Nell with American Leak Detection.
Save us!
No worries, guys. American Leak Detection has been around for more than 25 years, detecting and repairing hidden leaks in your home. Plus, we do all this without cutting huge holes in your wall.
Thanks, American Leak Detection.
American Leak Detection. Leak detection without destruction.
Just go to alddfw.com next time to get a hold of us. It's much easier.
American Leak Detection.
Nearly 200,000 Texans were abused by their intimate partners last year. 74% of Texans will experience abuse or know someone who has. Legal solutions are the only proven, permanent way to break the cycle of violence. Texas Advocacy Project provides free legal assistance to victims of domestic and dating violence, sexual assault, and stalking. Call an attorney and get the free legal assistance you need today. Call 1-800-374-HOPE.
Coming to Dallas Sunday night, August 21st. Outcry Summer 2016 Tour, featuring the songs and the sound of Hillsong worship. Plus, Carrie Joe. Featuring Rend Collective, Elevation Worship, and Urban Rescue.
Part of the Dallas Baptist University Concert Series.
An unforgettable night of worship.
If you've got questions, we got answers.
660 AM.
The Answer. The Wells Report. Must hear radio on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number 866-660-5759. District Judge Brock Thomas has dismissed the charge of tampering with government records against 27-year-old David Dyleden and 63-year-old Sandra Merritt on the request of the Harris County Prosecutor's Office. In case you are vaguely trying to remember who are these people, they are the anti-abortion activists who made undercover videos against Planned Parenthood, was able to record the officials selling body parts of babies. The dismissal of the bogus, politically motivated charges against the Center for Medical Progress project lead David Dyleden and investigator Sandra Merritt is a resounding vindication of the First Amendment right of all citizens journalists, and also a clear warning to any Planned Parenthood political crony who would attack whistleblowers to protect Planned Parenthood from scrutiny. said Delayden in a statement. It's amazing that the mainstream media didn't cover this, although Fox News did. But thank goodness that someone with some sense finally prevailed. The executive producer of the Wells Report is Vicki Steifer. Technical director, conductor of the Wells Report Orchestra is Magic Matt Swinney. My name is John David Wells. God bless you and yours. See you again tomorrow for another edition of the Wells Report.
Hey, does the idea of having your home sold on time without hassle and for top dollar, does that seem unrealistic to you? Well, it doesn't have to. Hey, Dallas, it's your friend Sean Hannity with your solution and the one real estate agent to sell your home guaranteed. That's Josh DeShong of Josh DeShong Real Estate at Keller Williams. On average, Josh sells a home every 32 hours and averages hundreds of local, national, and international buyers every single week. Now, that means your home sells on time at a price that you agreed to, guaranteed, or Josh will buy it. He spends 200 times more money on marketing than the average agent. Real estate mogul and Shark Tank star Barbara Corcoran only recommends Josh in DFW. And if I lived in Dallas and needed my home sold, guess what? I'd call Josh DeShong, and you should too. Call Josh now at 972-325-6644 or go online at getsold.net. That's 972-325-6644 or getsold.net.
Nothing interrupts a productive day like feeling worn out, and nothing interrupts a good night's sleep like snoring. It's not just your other half who feels the pain.
Honey, roll over!
Snoring and sleep apnea leave you tired during the day and increase your risk for health problems. Isn't it time to shut down snoring for good? Simple Sleep Services has the solution that really works without painful surgery, creepy CPAP machines, or bulky masks. Just a comfortable custom mouthpiece. And Simple Sleep's provided more in 5 years than anyone in the U.S. It's covered by medical insurance, and there's no pain or downtime. With Simple Sleep, you'll have more energy every day and more restful relaxation at night.
Honey, roll over.
Visit our full-service centers in Dallas and Fort Worth, online at simplesleepservices.com, or call us at 469-685-1700. Simple Sleep, 469-685-1700.
simplesleepservices.com.
Hi, this is Forrest Jackson for Jackson's Mosquito and Pest Control. Folks, mosquitoes in North Texas are a serious problem and threaten the health and happiness of your family. Allow us to help protect you. Jackson's has mosquito specialists standing by with multiple treatment options to help safeguard your home. From one-time pest treatments to full-fledged mosquito control systems, Jackson's has you covered. Take back your yard with Jackson's Mosquito and Pest Control. Call now, 214-350-1101. That's 214-350-1101. Or visit us at jacksonsmc.com.
660 AM The Answer.
KSKY of Balch Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth.
The official radio station of Decision 2016. The most important election of our lifetime.
Fox News Radio, I'm Rich Dennison. Hillary Clinton is the Democratic Party's presidential nominee. Clinton securing more than enough delegates during Tuesday's roll call of the states at the Democratic National Convention. Speaking for the Vermont delegation, Senator Bernie Sanders asked that Clinton be nominated by acclamation.
I move that Hillary Clinton be selected as the nominee of the Democratic Party for President of the United States.
Clinton is the first woman to be presidential nominee of a major political party. She will formally accept the nomination Thursday night. Willie Nelson kicking off another music festival, this one in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Always on my mind. The first Outlaw Music Festival will take place September 18th at the Pavilion and will feature performances from Nelson, Neil Young, and his band Promise of the Real. Tickets go on sale Friday.
Fox's Michelle Polino, Fox News. We report, you decide.
660 AM, The Answer. Sean Hannity lays out the truth about Hillary's email server.
Everything that Hillary had told us about these emails, everything she lied about. The whole thing here is one big, massive, corrupt lie. No other person would ever get away with the things that Hillary Clinton has gotten away with.
The Sean Hannity Show, afternoons at 2, right before Michael Medved at 5 on 660 AM, The Answer.
This is Hugh Hewitt for townhall.com. The California Senate recently passed a bill that threatens the ability of faith-based institutions across the Golden State to function according to their religious beliefs. The bill, SB 1146, is now being considered by various committees within the California Assembly. If passed and signed by Governor Jerry Brown, the bill would require any entity that receives state funding or enrolls students who receive state financial assistance to abide by expansive so-called non-discrimination provisions. The bottom line, religious schools would no longer be able to limit admissions of students or employment of people of their particular religious faith, nor would these schools be able to maintain certain codes of conduct, housing policies, and other policies according to their faith convictions. It's an ominous piece of legislation. If you care about religious freedom, please visit opposesb1146.com. That's opposesb1146.com and do what you can to stop the bill.
Dude, do you hear that? What is that? That doesn't sound good. Oh man, this isn't good at all. Hold on.
Let me see what this does. Is it better?
Nope. I'm pretty sure this is the opposite of better. Wait a minute, what are we gonna do? This is awful.
Looks like you need the help of American Leak Detection.
American Leak Detection.
Oh man, it's Will Nell with American Leak Detection.
Save us!
No worries, guys. American Leak Detection has been around for more than 25 years, detecting and repairing hidden leaks in your home. Plus, we do all this without cutting huge holes in your wall.
Thanks, American Leak Detection.
American Leak Detection. Leak detection without destruction.
Just go to alddfw.com next time to get a hold of us. It's much easier.
American Leak Detection.
Are you ready for the vacation of a lifetime? Then get on board for the Storyteller Cruise with 660 AM, The Answer. Join us October 23rd through the 30th with Matthew West. Along with pastor and Bible teacher Greg Laurie.
The highest calling of God is what God has called you to be. There is no higher thing. We're all called to do something.
Selah. Mr. Talkbox, and more. You and your family will travel aboard Holland America's New Amsterdam as we travel to Grand Turks, San Juan, St. Martin, and more. Best of all, enjoy music and inspiration from Matthew West and Pastor Greg Laurie. Space is very limited. Get details now at 660amtheanswer.com. We'll see you on the Storyteller Cruise from 660 AM, The Answer.
We live in Texas, and we know all there is about grilling meat and cooking hearty sides. But sometimes we want something a little lighter or healthier. Sometimes we just want one of the largest salad bars this side of the Brazos. That's why there's Buffalo West. Buffalo West is known for having the best steaks in Fort Worth, guaranteed. But they're also known for having one of the area's biggest and best salad bars. So many leafy options, veggies, croutons, bacon, and more dressings than you can shake a stick at. Buffalo West is your place for authentic Texas cuisine. Bring the family, heck, even bring the dog. Buffalo West has a beautiful pet-friendly patio where you can relax and enjoy live music. So when you're craving that leafy green goodness or salad toppings that stretch as far as the eye can see, then leave it to the Texans at Buffalo West. Buffalo West at the corner of Camp Bowie and Altamira in Fort Worth. You belong here.
Hi, folks. Bill Thomas here with Accurate Foundation Repairs. If you think your home has foundation issues, we'll send one of our highly trained technicians out to give you a free, accurate assessment of your home's foundation at no charge. Accurate Foundation Repair is the only company in the industry that has its warranty backed up by a third-party insurance company. Structure home warranty. Call Accurate Foundation Repair now, 972-623-2500, or on the web at AccurateFoundationRepair.com.
Accurate Foundation Repair. We give you a lift for the whole lot less.
Dallas, Fort Worth's home for stimulating talk. 660 AM, The Answer.
I have given you $550, my own money, for only one reason. Disliking you as intensely as I do, I wanted to be absolutely certain that when I looked back upon your financial downfall, I could absolve myself completely of any responsibility for it. And $550 is a relatively small price to pay for the knowledge that I've had nothing to do whatsoever with your financial downfall. You have brought yourself to penury entirely on your own.
I don't suppose
suppose you'd care to give me an additional $6,000 and insure yourself against guilt permanently.
Following has been rated PC for politically correct. Pay attention, you just may learn something.
It's the Sage, Larry Elder.
Larry Elder here, the Sage from South Central, the Prince of Pico Union, the Czar of Common Sense, the Great Eldersky, Don Lorenzo. Welcome to the program. No Victocrats allowed because we've got a country to save. So let's get her teed up.
You want to play rock? Say hello to my little friend. What the hell's going on out here?
That's a bingo. And this is Larry Elder. Absolutely, quite positively, no S. Also known as the Sage from South Central, the Prince of Pico Union, the Czar of Common Sense, Don Lorenzo. You should see the size of my business card. The number is 888-971-SAGE, 888-971-7243. Show is engineered by Sean McConnell, produced by The Forgotten Man. And day 2, right, of the DNC, right? Now, each convention day has a theme. And yesterday's theme was Donald Trump is a bigot. Today's theme is Donald Trump is a bigot. Tomorrow's theme, Donald Trump is a bigot. And the theme on Thursday will be the taxpayers take a beating and Donald Trump is a bigot. So we will be covering all these days. We have 3 more to go. Now, I understand there were 60 some odd people who spoke yesterday. Specifically, I think it was 63. And the word ISIS never came up. Now, I know you have a lot of things to talk about. Only a finite amount of time. You got to get in climate change and income redistribution and equal pay and affordable health care and public option. And I understand, but you would have thought that maybe somebody, even by accident, would have gone, speaking of ISIS, oops, slipped out. The words debt, deficit, and taxpayer escaped very many people's lips yesterday. Now, this is controversy. We're going to talk later on about some of the other things that were said. Elizabeth Warren gave a speech, rock and rolling speech, and Michelle Obama gave a very good speech. They all gave good speeches. Except for Elijah Cummings. Have you ever seen that much anger coming out of anybody? My goodness, did anything ever just, dude, calm down. It ain't that bad. You are a sitting congressman. You've had 1 million terms. When these guys retire, they retire with full salary plus something else and health care, and they get cost of living. These guys probably make, I think it's $175 a year, and everything's paid for. And as I said, given how long you are, you will have that amount of money every single year for the rest of your life, and it's COLA, adjusted for cost of living. I mean, it's not that bad. It really is not that bad. Man, is that guy angry. But the focus was on Michelle Obama's speech, and Michelle Obama said this.
That is the story of this country, the story that has brought me to this stage tonight, the story of generations of people who felt the lash of bondage, the shame of servitude, the sting of segregation, but who kept on striving and hoping and doing what needed to be done so that today I wake up every morning in a house that was built by slaves.
And for some reason, some people are slamming the speech. I guess they think what she meant was, I wake up every morning in a house that reminds me of how bad this country is. I don't think that's what she was doing at all. She said, and then the rest of it is, and my daughters play on the lawn in a house that was built by slaves. What she was saying is, oh my Lord, how far we've come. What's wrong with that? I'm going on the Hannity show tonight. We're going to be talking about this. And I think a lot of people feel that because Michelle made the comment about, for the first time in her adult life, she really feels proud of her country. Remember that?
Let me tell you something. For the first time in my adult lifetime, I'm proud of my country.
Let me tell you my problem with what Michelle Obama said. And it wasn't that she brought up the fact that the White House was built by slaves. It turns out that, yes, slave labor was used to build the White House, but also free black labor was used to build the White House, and white labor was used to build the White House. She implied or suggested that it was built 100% by by slaves, from what I can tell anyway. And they didn't really keep good records there. And historians didn't want to give a lot of props to black people back in those days. So we really don't know. We do know that there were slaves who helped to build the White House along with free blacks and other whites. We do know that. How many and over what period of time, we don't know. Who they were, we don't know. We do know this. Without the genius of a black man named Benjamin Banneker, the city of Washington, D.C. could not have built the way it was built. Thomas Jefferson hired a French architect to design the city, and they had some sort of dispute, probably over pay, and the French guy got pissed off and walked out, taking his plans with him. Benjamin Banneker, from memory, reproduced the plans. The parks, the streets, the circle. Anybody went to Washington, D.C., you know it's designed in a circle. And Benjamin Banneker reproduced the exact design of the French architect by memory. So it can be said that but for the genius of a free black man named Benjamin Banneker, Washington, D.C. would never have been built. So Michelle wakes up in a home that was built in part by slave labor in a city that was designed by a free black man. Why not tell that part of the story? That's all I'm suggesting. You know, my brother Kirk comes on the show every Friday. And one day he came over. We were getting ready to go out to have dinner. And yeah, he was going to pay. And we're watching television. And there was a man who published a magazine called Black Enterprise. I'll think of his name in a second. He was giving a speech about how black people have prospered and how many companies have been started by blacks and the growth in revenues. And then he proceeded to talk about how bigoted the country was and how oppressed blacks were and how the road to success for a black person is so much tougher for a white person. And then he went back to talking about the promise of the future and how optimistic he was about the future for people. And as you know, my brother is not nearly as talkative as I am. And I turned to him and I said, what do you think about his speech? And Kirk said, back and forth, back and forth. And that's how I feel about the Obamas, back and forth. I saw Obama give the speech in Boston in 2004 that launched his career. I was there. I was inside the arena, and he electrified the place. I turned to my producer and I said, this man is going to run for president someday, and he's going to win. He didn't say anything. He just said there's no blue America, there's no red America, there's just one United States of America, people went nuts. There's no white America, there's no black America, there's just one United States of America, people went nuts. He didn't say anything. I said, he's just another tax spin and regulate lefty, but he gave a good speech. And he was young, and he was black and good looking. But he gave a speech about the hope and promise of America, right? And when he decided to run, one of his first important interviews was with Steve Kroft of 60 Minutes. And at the time, he was running a good number 2, but it still seemed as if Hillary was likely going to win because, you know, after all, she had name recognition, she had money, and most people thought she was going to get the nomination. In fact, some of the people, including, I believe it was John Lewis, who marched with MLK, a long-standing congressman from Georgia, supported Hillary at first because he did not believe Obama could win. A lot of black politicians did not believe Obama couldn't win and didn't support him or kept their powder dry. Anyway, so Kroft says to Obama, Senator Obama, if you don't get the nomination, will it be because of racism? And Obama said, no. It will be because I've not articulated a vision that the American people can embrace. And I'm sitting at home and I said to myself, hallelujah. I'll never vote for a tax spin regulate lefty because I think it undermines prosperity. But at least this man is not a victim. Assuming he wins, at least black people will stop playing the race card. We can stop this nonsense about institutional racism, systemic racism, structural racism, whatever racism. And when things go bad, we can look at it on a case-by-case basis. And this guy could help lead that kind of change in mindset. Surprise, surprise. More on this when I come back. I'm Larry Elder. Please don't leave town.
Call in now and join the conversation. 888-971-SAGE. That's 888-971-7243. setting fire to the airwaves. It's the Larry Elder Show.
Folks, many financial experts predict that it's going to be a really ugly year. And as tough as the sinking economy is on everyone, it's scariest for retirees and soon to be retirees whose highest earning days are behind them. Even those with pensions find no security. Larry Elder here. There is a path to safety. I'm following in the footsteps of my friends, Dennis Prager, Hugh Hewitt, and Mike Gallagher to direct you to Gold Coal Precious Metals. If you're unhappy with the economy and your retirement plan and you want to minimize risks, take a look at Gold Co. by logging on to LarryElderGold.com. You can roll over $50,000 or more from your IRA or 401k to a gold IRA to diversify your portfolio and get the security you desire. Log on to LarryElderGold.com and request your free gold IRA guide now. That's LarryElderGold.com. Gold Co. Precious Metals, protecting your family's wealth.
Thinking about life insurance? What if you could make one free phone call and learn your best price from nearly a dozen highly rated, price competitive companies? Well, that's exactly what happens when you call SelectQuote Life. For example, George is 40. He was getting sky-high quotes from other companies because he takes meds to control his blood pressure. But when I shopped around, I found him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $28 a month. I'm SelectQuote agent Dan Savino. And believe me, if SelectQuote isn't shopping for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your quote, call 1-800-613-2712. That's 1-800-613-2712. 1-800-613-2712. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors not available in all states.
Hey, does the idea of having your home sold on time without hassle and for top dollar, does that seem unrealistic to you? Hey, Dallas, it's your friend Sean Hannity, one real estate agent to sell your home guaranteed. That's Josh DeShong of Josh DeShong Real Estate at Keller Williams. Josh averages hundreds of local, national, and international buyers every single week. Now, that means your home sells on time at a price that you agreed to, guaranteed, or Josh will buy it. Josh's clients voted, and both D Magazine and Texas Monthly ranked him as the best real estate agent in Dallas. Real estate mogul and Shark Tank star Barbara Corcoran only recommends Josh in DFW. And if I lived in Dallas and needed my home sold, guess what? I'd call Josh DeShong, and you should too. Call Josh now at 972-325-6644 or go online at getsold.net. That's 972-325-6644 or getsold.net and start packing.
As a listener to this station, you've heard a variety of companies advertising their products and services, many of them for a number of years.
I'm Walt Parker with InvestingMakesMeSick.com. I've gotten absolutely great results. No matter who's advertising, it definitely pays off. Doesn't matter what business they're in. I think they'll find it's going to be very rewarding.
My name is John Duncan, and I'm the CEO and founder of Bioscan of Las Colinas. It's simply the most effective advertising that I can do. I've advertised for the last 14 years on television, radio, and newspaper, and advertising with 660 gets the best results.
Hi, I'm Marsha West, Senior Account Manager for 660 AM The Answer. For 20 years, I've worked with companies, both big and small, to create cost-effective radio campaigns that get results. Let me do the same for you. Contact me today at mwest@ksky.com. That's mwest@ksky.com. I want to help you grow your business.
This is 660 AM, The Answer.
Across America, the Larry Elder Show.
Now, this black and white Mercedes that keeps following me, appearing wherever I am, your name is Carol, and I want you to stop. And I also want you to stop trying to pursue my nephew. In Jesus' name.
I got a feeling that was a wrong number, but I could be wrong.
Now, this black and white Mercedes that keeps following me, appearing wherever I am,